Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Welcome in. Nice to have you aboard on this very chilly Thursday, September the 24th. 68 degrees when I walked into the building here. I look at my buddy on the Zoom, and Brett Norsworthy is wearing a coat. He's wearing a coat. Brett.
Yes, he is, because he's always cold.
Can I ask you a question?
Dave, I can't help it. I'm cold-blooded.
You got a heater in your home?
I do, but I'm too tight to turn it on.
I mean to tell you, Lord, you won't even use the energy. You're making a fortune off energy stocks, and you won't even turn your heater on.
You hadn't checked them lately. You hadn't checked them lately.
No, I don't want to know.
It's in the buy area for you. You told me to let you know.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Timber.
Oh, God. I hate to hear that. I was rolling
so
with
much
you.
fun when it's going up, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like
so much fun.
I like hearing the good stories. It's a little bit like when everybody goes to Tunica, there's a guy who goes, oh, yeah. I was playing
the
slots.
handicappers.
I won $700, which, he did that one time.
2 million stars.
He never talks to me about the fact that he's gone like 18 times, and the other 17, he lost a ton. But, they only talk about the time they won.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. In fact, this year on the Ole Miss Network, we've got a new apparel provider for the network. It's gentileapparel.com, and it's a lot of Ole Miss guys and people involved in that. And my first request was long sleeves. I got all the polos I can stand. I got to have long sleeves.
Because you're going to be outside from
the
frozen
tundra,
season.
Dave.
It doesn't get frozen tundra in Oxford. Come on.
I don't know. The Missouri game a few years ago, 2013, maybe the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Well, if you'd have been up in Columbia, it would have been a lot colder. I promise.
I couldn't have imagined it much colder. I thought I was going to break by the end of pregame, and Richard at the first break, Richard Cross asked me because he knew, and I was kind of scuffling with some issues at the time, and I wasn't feeling great, and I was really, really cold. And he asked me at the first break, like came on at 5, and at 10 after at the first break, he asked me, he said, "Are you cold?" I went, "Oh, no, not at all." So the next week when I saw him at the Egg Bowl, I said, "Richard, I owe you an apology." He said, "What for?" I said, "I looked you square in the eye and ball-face lied to you." He said, "About what?" I said, "When you asked me was I cold was I cold and miserable at 10 after 5 last week, I said no, but I was."
Well, here's the problem. If you're cold in your house at 68 degrees, you've got a long
I don't have a chance. It's frozen tundra.
You've got a long way to go. Because
you know what I'm going to do?
You're not going to be in the press box this year.
For the late games like the Egg Bowl, November 28th.
Yeah.
We'll have power because we have to have laptops and TV hookups.
Bring a space heater?
I promise you. The space heater, heck, I'll bring an old electric blanket.
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
Have it
that's
over
smart.
me.
You could do that. Those things use a lot of juice. You could be breaking circuits. Don't knock yourself off the air trying to stay warm now.
Boy, that'd be a heck of a story, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Winston-Salem back at Learfield IMG and Columbia all pushing buttons and wondering what's going on. And it's Brett's darn electric blanket.
It's the electric blanket. Get the guy
to
turn that off.
Because the whole fool can't stay warm.
Wow. We're speaking of football. Today was the day I was supposed to be right now on an airplane.
Right now. You'd be there. You'd be playing tonight.
No, we were.
You would have left yesterday, wouldn't you?
No. We were playing Friday night. It's Thursday.
Okay.
So we were supposed to play Friday night. I'd be on an airplane right now as we speak. Instead, today, I did my 5th Ryan Silverfield television show. And we played one game. One game. I
told Greg Gaston we were going to break down that Arkansas State game again. He said, "Can we go back to last year?" I said, "We may go back to the Russell Vollmer years."
We'll be telling stories. That's all we can do. I am I'm admiring of Ryan Silverfield because this is tough. he's doing this show. We got nothing to talk about, and we're making the most of it. We talked a little bit about where you are today, even though this is going to air Sunday night. And I want to give people sort of a heads up. If it looks bad, if things change, it's because he's got so limited time to practice now that in the time slot we would normally be doing our TV show Sunday morning after a game with video, and his guys are off. They're going to have meetings that afternoon. He's got that slot. Well, now they're using it to try to practice as often as they can. So we've shot these things on Thursday. And he just I'm trying to put this as nicely as I can. He kind of looks beleaguered. This is wearing on him. He said today, and I'm going to let you know, never giving me numbers, not anything specific, but he basically, and you'll hear him Sunday night, say, we haven't come close to a full practice yet. We do 14, 15 periods out of 25. We haven't had everybody ready. The odds are darn good that not everybody will be able to go to SMU next week. That's the contact tracing, or it's the quarantine from having positive cases, I guess. So it's impossible to have any kind of normalcy because everything you try to do changes every day with the availability of guys, or all of a sudden, wait a second, now this guy's got contact tracing. He's out. And again, I don't know numbers, but I do know this. He hasn't had a real practice with everybody there for 2 weeks there. By the time they play this game, and they still will not be at full strength, if they play this game, he will not have played for a month. And there will be guys who haven't practiced for a month. I mean, it's
rough
impossible.
Stuff. That's rough stuff for a veteran coach, but especially newly mended and off to a great start. And yesterday when we were visiting with Barrett Jones, and he was so good yesterday, I was thinking – and I didn't ask him this because he was rolling. It was so informative. But a lot of teams will spend more time together on game day than at any point the rest of the year together, and that's diametrically opposite of normal.
Yeah. Well, now in a normal year, you will spend a lot of time on game day together because you all have mass total meetings as a group.
But all the meeting times and all the practice times that you would in a normal year you have, they're keeping them so
they're zoomed,
compartmentalized.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people are keeping a quarterback kind of on reserve away from everybody too.
That part I don't really know. I don't know what Memphis is doing in that regard. I know Brady White has talked to the press, so I'm assuming that Brady is healthy and he will be able to go, so that is a huge positive.
Almost like the lone survivor cabinet secretary on State of the Union night. Keep somebody back in case everybody else goes down.
Well, didn't they used to move them to the bunker in West Virginia?
Well, they practice that. You'll see that. You need to go on that tour.
I am going to go.
I'm not getting into your vacation plans, but you need to do that.
I am definitely planning.
And they'll take you down in the bowels of it, and you've never seen thicker one that could withstand a nuclear warhead.
So we're talking about we're talking about the Greenbrier in West Virginia that was built.
White Sulphur Springs.
It was built to house both Congress and Senate, right?
Everything.
Yeah.
It was going to be Little Washington D.C. It would have the Supreme Court there. It would have had some cabinet secretaries there.
And it's a bunker.
For sure would have
underground. Correct?
Oh, you'll see the barracks. You would have seen you'll see what would have been the Senate chamber, what would have been the House chamber, what would have been the chambers for the Supreme Court. You'll see everything.
And this
it's fascinating. The archival pictures. The Greenbrier existed for a long time, but they built that there very clandestinely and surreptitiously as part of the continuation of government plan.
Right. This was in
the Washington vernacular. It's called COG, continuation of government.
Well, in layman's terms, it was built there.
I've read memos on it.
In case there was a nuclear war, there was a place underground for Congress, Senate, the government
to scurry over to White Sulphur Springs
to be safe, to be underground and safe. so that, as you say, the continuation of the government would go on.
I mean, Joint Chiefs, the cabinet, the
Right.
president. I mean, they all could have sought refuge
is
there,
it
and would have.
Would that be functional today? What would happen today? Is there another place that we don't know about?
The cover got blown and it got very tourist. Oh yeah, there's another place, and that's where Vice President Cheney spent most of the fall of 2001 overseeing the construction of it. Remember when he just dropped off the scene shortly after September 11th, and with his background as Secretary of Defense and as Chief of Staff for Richard Nixon, he knew exactly how and what and where it should be built, and nobody knows where the new one is. But I would say it was probably within about a 45 to an hour radius of Washington, D.C., just guessing.
Makes sense to me. That's for sure. We've got
In fact, White Sulphur Springs was a little far because we once did kind of a practice run, scurrying out of town and heading over there by car. Oh yeah, by car. Yeah, I got to go with Senator David Pryor and his son Mark, who was later a senator. I wasn't one of the ones that they were worried about saving.
How long did it take you?
I was probably It took a long time. I mean, it took too long. In fact, riding over there, we kind of chuckled, thinking, "Well, we've been hit. It's all over." We're just going through the motions.
Were you allowed to go fast? Could you go fast like I used to in my G70?
In fact, it was with a military escort.
Oh,
it was fun.
Oh,
and it took so long, I said, look, since we're dead, pull over. Let's get a six-pack of Budweiser. I was the only one to drink among the bunch.
Of course you did. Of course. In another lifetime. We are really busy today. We've got Bill Bender coming your way at 3:30 from the Sporting News. We'll talk college football, what's going on with the Pac-12. They're meeting today. He may have the latest on that. We will, at 3:50, give our prognostication on the Alabama Crimson Tide by just looking around and everything else. Brett's got them 10-0.
Nobody's got them 5-5.
Brett's got them 10-0. I know that already. Keith Smith.
Nobody's got Bama with a bunch of losses, do they?
No. Keith Smith from Yahoo will join us from down in Orlando, and boy, Miami just looks good. The truth is, you can't have a star like Jason Tatum is supposed to be who doesn't score a point in the first half and expect to win games. And, boy, both teams.
Jason Tatum scoreless in a half last night. Night before last, Anthony Davis with 2 rebounds and 0 block shots.
Yeah.
I wonder which one of those 2 rebounds he prized the most.
We got lambasted by Charles Barkley at the half of that game and then came out and was sensational. Oh, are you talking about the other night when he hit the big shot, or
no? When they
lost, right?
He had 2 rebounds and 0 block shots. That's almost indefensible.
Well, the show after us on the network with Rob Parker,
Chris Broussard,
right? Rob Parker was before while the NBA playoffs were just beginning. They were both joking because they live in L.A. They were both joking that there would be, out of every 4 games, 2 fourth quarters that Anthony Davis would not show up. So, the word was
one down
in L.A. was sort of out about him, but he sure came to play in the fourth quarter 2 games ago. That is for sure. Keith Smith is down in Orlando. We will chat with the man who writes for Yahoo about the NBA semifinals. Russell Copeland on the National Football League, and we do have a game this evening. We'll talk about Thursday Night Football and a whole lot more. We'll talk more Tigers with Greg Gaston. That'll come your way at 5 o'clock. We'll talk baseball. A week ago, I was bragging on the Cubs and the White Sox, and neither team can do anything. They've lost combined, I think it's 10 in a row. Hey, come on.
I think they'll be okay, Dave. We talked earlier. Right now, you want to stay. We'll talk to Tim about it, but I think you want to stay sharp. Maybe win a game or 2 this weekend where you're not going in there with that's all the media is talking about is a losing streak. Both of them have set themselves up pretty well and be set up for the playoffs. We'll talk to Tim about that. We're going to pick Ole Miss W's and L's too, aren't we?
And whenever you tell us to, that's what at 4:50 that we do that.
4:50.
Yeah. I'm really curious. I want to bring up the thing I told you last night at 5. 7 teams from the Central Division are in the playoffs. And I do think
It's a good take.
that was the most difficult of the competitive setups. So we'll see what Tim's take is on that. And then at 5:50, we'll go Taco Bell crunch timing it with all of you.
We will right now. White Sox would be the 4th seed. That's opening against the Yankees. That won't be a lot of fun. Everybody's
that's
kind of wanting
terrible.
to dodge the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Cubs, a 3 seed. That would be opening against the Marlins.
Right.
Marlins in the playoffs for the first time since they won it.
I want the Cubs
03.
to avoid the Reds and the Cardinals in the first round. They've been playing each other the whole darn time here. Play somebody else. I think that should have been written in, that if you can avoid a division opponent in the playoffs, if they could set that up that way, they should have. Because you're playing 60 games, it's all the same teams. Play the other divisions, it's the playoffs.
I agree. This hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the golden opportunity late September fall sales event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
My heart goes out to Shelby County Schools football players, fall sports athletes. Today, they organized again. It's the 3rd time. And they went to speak to the superintendent of schools, Dr. Joris Ray. And for the 3rd time, Dr. Ray refused to even see them. Now, if we try to be objective and look at the other side, what can Dr. Ray say? He's already said everything he's going to, which is, I think it's still too dangerous to play. I know everybody else in the state is playing, but I'm listening to what the health department is saying. Although the health department is opening up bars, the health department is allowing more than 50% capacity now. They are stepping back a little bit, opening up a little bit more. But he's pretty darn set, and until he sees these cases really go down on a regular basis, they're not changing their mind. I don't think there is going to be high school football this year. And my heart goes out to these kids who really, truly want to play. And Dr. Ray is steadfast in this. And the unfortunate thing is, had he made this decision in concrete from the get-go, some of these other athletes who are potentially Division I guys that didn't get really looked at this year, maybe they could have transferred to a olive branch or a private school and had the opportunity. That's the one sad part about it all.
Very sad. My top story, NFL Week 3 starts tonight. A bunch of headlines. Injuries, poor play, good play, activism, but one that so far, through 1/8 of the season, that's not a headline, has been the virus. So far, so good for the NFL. And tonight, 2 zany mustachioed quarterbacks. Minshew Mania against Fitz Magic. Post-game will be great tonight.
Yeah. Minshew Mania. I am still stunned about that turnaround with Gardner Minshew, because I watched him play at East Carolina, never understood why East Carolina basically shooed him out the door. And look at what happened now. Makes you realize, boy, that program's made a lot of mistakes in the last few years. That is for sure. It's speaking of the injuries, and we'll talk about this with Russell Copeland. MetLife Stadium and the turf there, they say nothing's wrong with it. How could there be? Is that coincidence? That's the craziest thing I have seen in a while.
Not top story of the day.
Those are the numbers. We have 147 new cases, but I almost view that, Brett, as a positive. No deaths. Out of those 147 new cases, that came from 3,373 tests. That means the positivity rate today, 4.4%. That brings the overall positivity down near 6%. These are the trends that you're hoping to see. Hospital space, flat. There are 205 cases of COVID in hospitals. 205. That is it. In Tennessee, 186,000 cases. We're closing in on 2,300 deaths. Mississippi, 94,500. 2,870 who have passed. In Arkansas, 78,000. And about 1,200 who have passed away. In the United States, 7.1 million, 206,000 deaths, but we've had 4.4 million recoveries. And around the world now, 32.2 million, 983,000 fatalities, 25.5 million recoveries. And here's the other thing, 173 vaccines, but a fourth from Johnson & Johnson, which will be a one-shot treatment or vaccine. That now is in final stages and in preparation. And because of the government money they've been given, many of these companies like Johnson & Johnson have begun, even though the FDA has not approved these drugs, they have gone and started to mass produce them, because if and when they get passed, then we will be off and running and have some in production to distribute to everybody in the country or the world.
My not top story, Louisville, University of Louisville, and their NCAA case. Which one, you may say? Remember, U of L and its really black eyes that it suffered in its basketball program, in its athletics department. It cost Jurich, it cost Patino, and a lot of people thought it would be crippled irreparably. It hadn't been. No, really nothing to their legacy of winning. Chris Mack has done it very well in saving Louisville's name, and it just goes to show you, if you've got enough clout, enough standing before a big, ugly NCAA scandal, you'll probably come out of it okay. But Louisville, they're just fine. Look, if you love to play golf, this weekend the weather's going to get perfect, and one of the best places to play is Stonebridge Golf Course in Lakeland. Easy and convenient to get to from anywhere in the area. Love the layout at Stonebridge, and the course is in great shape. You can visit stonebridgegolf.com to book a tee time and see it for yourself. Along with the great course, they have a great driving range so you can work on your game. If you mention Sports 56, you'll get a free bucket of balls with a round of golf. That's right, just mention Sports 56. You're also invited to book any event you have coming up at their beautiful clubhouse. With the weather cooling down and this weekend looks perfect, it's a great time of year to play golf, and the place to play is Stonebridge Golf Course in Lakeland, the premier golf course of the Mid-South. Visit stonebridgegolf.com or call 901-382-1886 to make a tee time. And don't forget, mention Sports 56 for a free bucket of balls with your round of golf. Get out, play golf, have some fun, and do it at Stonebridge Golf Course.
We are officially underway on this Thursday. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. I remind you, up to 30% off on spas and even those big swim spas, because right now through October, it is the world's biggest spa sale at Family Leisure. You can literally choose from hundreds of different spas from multiple manufacturers, most of them all state-of-the-art technology. There is special financing available, and if you are thinking about keeping your pool going for the winter, like I do every year, I don't close it down. I need chemicals. I need accessories to keep things going. Special pricing as the summer starts to come to an end, and always professional delivery is available at Family Leisure. We're back in a minute. We talk college football. What's the update on the Pac-12 and the Mountain West and everybody else? We'll hear from the Sporting News Big Bill Bender in just 1 minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, Call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elders Roofing Solutions.
It's time for an upgrade. Beneath your feet, with beautiful, durable new carpet from the Home Depot. And right now, free installation. Choose from a wide selection of styles. Order samples. Schedule a measure and installation, all online. It's never been easier to have carpet you love, right where you live. New carpet and free installation, only from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free installation on carpet $4.99 or more and 99 cents or more per square foot. U.S. only.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
It's time to catch the falling prices at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during our Fallback Kia sales event. You'll find best mass market brand and initial quality 5 years running for Kia with J.D. Powers, and we goss it all at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah. Get 2020 Forte $131 a month, 36-month lease. How about a 2020 Soul $148 a month, 36-month lease? And check out the all-new 2021 Kia K5, now just $189 a month, 36-month lease. And they're all just $3149 due at signing. And in these uncertain times, Gossett says rest assured with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $3149 due at signing, 0 security deposit, excludes acquisition fee, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee, Forte LE 2249.63, Soul L7120906, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty, see Kia.com or retailer for details, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 598.75, excludes tax, title, and license, see dealer for complete details, not all customers will qualify.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
What I'm saying is, this is the anthem. Throw all your hands up. Y'all got to feel me. Sing if you're with me. Yeah.
Welcome back in on this Thursday afternoon. Always a pleasure to chat with our friend from the Sporting News who writes college football. That is Bill Bender in the heart of Big Ten country, but big discussion today. Apparently, the Pac-12 is meeting. I don't know if they're voting. They are thinking about getting back in time for the college football playoffs, although I don't know how many games they could play if they start October the 31st or even November the 7th by the time the College Football Committee makes their decisions on December 20th. Good afternoon, Bill. What do you think? Are we going to see the Pac-12 enter the fray?
Probably. Yeah, I don't know how many games or, what that's going to do, and making sure they can do it safely. It's all over this. Try to get back in, and obviously the Big Ten's coming back on the 24th. I think the Pac-12 come back on the 31st. I don't think they're going to push the college football playoff back though, and that's going to make for a lot of interesting arguments.
If they got started Halloween, October 31st, played the weekends of the 31st, November 7, November 14, 21, 28, December 5th, and even December 19th, and Bill somehow just tried to not have a championship game, play 7 games and declare a champion. If that team was 7-0, that would make it tough on Bill Hancock and the College Football Playoff Committee.
Yeah, everything's going to be tough on them. I mean, from the
Sure
Big
is.
Ten playing 8 in the championship, the SEC, if they have a 10-1 team that doesn't win the SEC, the ACC with all the scheduling snafus they've had so far, I did that list for us today, just kind of charted it out. There's been more than 20 games that have been either postponed, canceled, or rescheduled, and those are since the season started, so not before the season started. It's a lot. This is going to go down as one of those years where whoever wins it, probably be some controversy, but I'm of the opinion that I don't care. If they win the
Already
championship
down.
this year, you'll win it.
It's not going down. It's already written in stone.
Hold on. Let's clarify this, though. If I recall the language in the deal to get into the college football playoffs, do you not have to be the champion of your conference? Isn't that what it says?
Well, Alabama wasn't when they won it, so I don't think you have to be. Their language, the phrase I always hear is four very best teams. I've heard Bill Hancock say it 100 times in the last couple of years, it's four very best teams. But Alabama didn't win a conference championship and won the national championship.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
1 year Penn State was champion and didn't even make the Final Four.
Isn't that
right.
interesting? Because by rule, you have to be, if you are in the group of five, to get into the one slot that you are given for the New Year's Day 6 grouping, you have to be a champion. That's where I was getting at. But you're right. They're just going to take the four best teams. But I was thinking to myself anyway, if the Pac-12 only plays 7 games, probably 6 games, and then they say, this is who we declare, the conference itself declares this team the champion, that makes their case to be in the playoff.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. So I don't think either one of us is wrong in this instance because from the group of five standpoint, they're held to an impossible standard that UCF met twice and still didn't have enough to get in. The Pac-12 is kind of treated as the, I don't know if I know you can't use that phrase on the air anymore, that stepchild that out of the five, Power 5 conferences. And, I think they're looked at a little bit as less than the other four. And so if they did play 7 and didn't play a conference championship and got started at Halloween and there were no hitches, I still think they'd be up against it unless Oregon went undefeated. I think Oregon's got a pretty good football team.
I do too. And a really good coach. And whenever that day comes, and I'm not, and Dave always says I'm predicting it. I'm not. I'm just saying it's going to happen. Nick Saban's going to retire someday at Alabama. I think Mario Cristobal will be on a 2-3 man short list with Jeremy Pruitt, maybe Dabo Swinney, and maybe a
Kirby Smart.
No, not a chance. And maybe a surging Billy Napier on that list. Bill, what's harder for the college football playoff committee? A bunch of undefeateds or a bunch of 2-loss teams?
I would say the 2-loss mess would be much more difficult. I mean, if they're all undefeated, you can just make up a strength of schedule metric and say we're taking these 4 and sorry to the other one. I think with 2-loss teams, that who did they play and was it on the road and what percentage of the stadium was filled and all of those things will come to work. So to me, it's more about the, if you had, we haven't seen a 2-loss team in the playoff yet. So if you had a bunch of them fighting for that last spot, I think it would create a heck of a mess that we're already in.
What are you hearing, Mountain West? What are you hearing, MAC? Will they come into the fray? And I wonder, how does that affect the bowls? We asked the executive director of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl yesterday, Steve Earhart, if he thought this would mean that you had to be 500 if everybody's playing and all the bowls are back in business. And he was under the assumption that no, the leagues are just going to assign teams no matter how many wins they have to the bowls because it's such a crazy year. What are you hearing?
Yeah, I think same thing. I mean, it's just, I don't know if you'll need to be 500 to go to a bowl game at this point. There's 91 teams playing. There's 88 bowl slots available. So they're going to try to fill every single one of them. And there's even, there's some games like the Bahamas Bowl that I don't know if you'd be able to travel to the Bahamas for a bowl game or if a university would let a school do that. And I like that bowl. I like watching it every year. So a lot of things are at work. And I just think a lot of the bowl schedule, I do our bowl projections every week. A lot of it's just TBD, and that's the best you can do at this point.
Well, Bill, are you on upset alert for anybody this weekend in the SEC?
I don't know about the SEC. I think there's some interesting games. I think Kentucky-Auburn could be fun. I think South Carolina-Tennessee, that line's awful small at first glance. I thought, Tennessee ought to just run away with that one, given what happened last year and how they cut up South Carolina secondary, but it's a different year, different secondary. different hitches than not playing. If there's an upset worth looking at, Army Cincinnati could be a weird game. Army's outscored the first two opponents 79-7. You don't want to fall behind against the Black Knights, and they get off to a good start against Cincinnati. That could get real interesting.
I think that is going to be an outstanding game. I really do.
I love you. In the Army game notes this week, it was a great note. Army trying to win against a ranked opponent for the first time since they won in 1972 over Air Force, and the first time that both teams have been ranked. They're trying to win for the first time since 1958 when they beat Rice.
Well,
that's about 4 lifetimes ago.
Well, I'll tell you, I was in the Big House last year, and they had Michigan by the you know what, and they did because they ran that clock, got off to a good start, had a couple turnovers, and they had one bad turnover in the fourth quarter that flipped that game. But I'm just looking at a 12-point spread and thinking, man, the way Army played in those first two games, but Cincinnati's a really good team too, and Luke Fickell has seen that option a few times with Navy. It's just it can go in. That first quarter is so important. I know that's cliche. It sounds boring, but when you're playing a service academy, it really is true.
A great ACC game could be the Miami-Florida State game without the head coach there. That has to make Miami a major favorite, especially by the way they played last week.
This ends wide right, doesn't it? It always does, doesn't it?
Well, here's where this game's fallen, and I kind of did this stat. So from the 1990s to their first year in the SEC, they played 9 top 10 showdowns. It was the game. I was telling somebody earlier today, that was one where, when I was growing up, I told my mom, I'm having friends over, we're going to have chili, we're going to sit here in the living room and enjoy this 3 hours of NFL talent all over the place. And like you said, probably a kick at the end to decide it. They've played one top 10 showdown since. And it's really fallen off the radar. So, but as good as Miami's looked, Florida State had an off week. Pride factors in. So the coach isn't there. Everybody's writing them off. Be an interesting stand-up spot for Florida State here.
I agree. I'd like to see that happen for Mike Norvell. But as good as Miami has played, as bad as Florida State played in the one game they lost, did nothing in the second half, and no Norvell, I don't understand why that line is only, it's 11.5.
Yeah, and their offense struggled with turnovers, and Miami's got a super aggressive defense that has racked up 16 tackles for loss the last 2 weeks. The rest of you're on to something. The recipe for a blowout is there. I always looked at it. I get a little leery because all those kids know each other, and if Norvell was on the sideline, I might feel a little bit differently. I think I picked Miami to win like 31-19. Could be worse than that, though.
Boy, Bill, you're right. Those games when you were a little guy growing up and had your crew over, you could watch those games, and there were players on the sidelines that were beautiful. You knew just ball players everywhere. Anywhere the camera shot was, there was about 30 players that you knew were destined for the NFL in the camera shot.
Yeah, and again, the kicks that Bobby Bowden had so many good teams, and it came down to a leg, and it just didn't work out. And when you have 4 wide rights and a wide left, and a missed extra point a couple years ago when Miami lost, it's just an interesting game. It has fallen off. It will take the back seat in some way to all these SEC games that people are going to be watching. Alabama will be on in that window. We're going to watch Georgia. We're going to see the replacements for Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jake Fromm on Saturday. And I think that's the biggest storyline to me in the SEC is who's going to step up and be the man at quarterback. Is it Kyle Trask? Is it one of those replacements I just mentioned? Or is it a guy like, does Kellen Mond ever figure it out at A&M? Mm-hmm. These are the questions you gotta wonder what we're going to have happen in that conference, and it does revolve around the quarterback.
My only advice to you, Bill Bender, this Saturday, don't eat too much chili.
Yeah, man, I love it. We haven't had it in a while, so it's been a little warmer up here, but
it's football season food.
Miami, that was that game, and I'll always remember those top 10 showdowns. I hope they get to that point again.
Me too. Thank you much. I know you got to run. We appreciate chatting with you every week. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Hey, no problem. Thanks so much.
That is Bill Bender, and he comes your way every week right here. He is from the Sporting News. He's brought you in part by the good folks at Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. The thing about Ken that I really appreciate is not many people can do this. If you're a builder, you've got to know little details. You really do. But if you are building these palaces, you also have to be able to see the big picture and communicate the big picture. That's my friend Ken Garland. He sees them both. Little details, big picture. That's important when you are building that dream home. I want you to go to kengarland.com. You'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe you've been thinking about that for a long time. You may even have land from your family. You're ready to make that move, but you're not sure what to do. He knows. Maybe you're looking for land. He's got land too. And he's got all the plans to build on that land to just ideally make use of it. Maybe you're looking for a new development already built. That's a Leylon. That's a gated community by Boyle that Ken's involved with. It's on Mestic Road, east of Kirby, all the way to McVeigh, 4-bedroom homes starting at $875,000. Maybe you just want to renovate your old home. You don't want to leave that lot, but you want modern amenities. I call that renovation with innovation, and that's what Ken Garland specializes in. Again, go to kengarland.com and then make this call, 751-1632, 751-1632, and just chat. You'll love just talking and seeing the possibilities that you'll get if you talk to Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Let us take a quick timeout. When we return, the best team in the SEC, the aforementioned Alabama. How good will they be? Will they run the table in this 10-game schedule in the SEC, or will there be a blip? Drew, myself, and Stats will lay it out for you in just a minute.
It's R&R on Sports.
The word is out about R&R on Sports, where you've heard interviews from
Ken Griffith Jr., Dr. J, Hank Aaron, and many, many more.
R&R on Sports, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1.
Don't miss us.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Memphis, it's official. Crab Kings is where it's at. The best seafood with 7 flavors to choose from. Try the shrimp and chicken pasta. Now available is the salmon and fried lobster pasta. Snow crab, king crab, dungeons and more. Fish platter, $9.99. Lobster tail, $10.99. Jumbo wings, 99 cents each. Download the app or search Crab Kings on Google. Visit us at crabkingstn.com. Crab Kings Seafood and Pasta, Memphis favorites. Memphis, it's official. Crab Kings is where it's at. The best seafood with 7 flavors to choose from. Try the shrimp and chicken pasta. Now available is the salmon and fried lobster pasta. Snow crab, king crab, dungeons and more. Fish platter, $9.99. Lobster tail, $10.99. Jumbo wings, 99 cents each. Download the app or search Crab Kings on Google. Visit us at CrabKingsTN.com. Crab Kings Seafood and Pasta, Memphis' favorite.
Back to work at that job, the one you realized isn't for you? Well, that's if you're lucky, right? Make your move. You can start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
All 75 months at 2.99 APR, G4, LH, FO 7472, Outlander, LU 029957, Eclipse, LZO 15617. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 59875, excludes tax title and license, offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details.
Gossett's Mitsubishi Madness is in full swing at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, and you'll find deals to get this party started. 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage G4 gets 41 MPG Highway. We Gossett at $139 a month or buy for $12,435. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, built to handle any adventure at $229 a month or buy for $18,573. And take the 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross for a spin at $19,107 or $229 a month. Get confidence today, tomorrow, and long into the future with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Mirage G4, $139 a month. Outlander Sport, $229 a month. And Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Lotion and Brett Noseworthy.
We get a texter on our First Bank text line at 67129. Today I'm supposed to be at a house. Me and some buddies. We rented right across the street from Lambeau, getting ready for the Ryder Cup. That was supposed to be this week. Wow, what a tough break.
That's almost too cruel.
That is.
I don't think I'm sorry really covers it for you.
That almost chokes me up a little bit there. It really does.
Sorry
about that, my friend. Hope you can get it
I
next
texted back
year.
to him, keep your chin up and thanks for listening, but that kind of feels a little hollow, doesn't it?
But because it's sincere, but nobody can make him feel better. We just hope he gets the same deal for next year.
I know how to make you feel better. We were talking about great food when you're watching ball games with Bill Bender, and it may be getting close to time of the year for Brunswick stew from the commissary at the Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. We've got a great community. And to show you just how small, the degrees of separation, not very large in our community. Walker Taylor's 3 daughters that went to Alabama, they were enough older that they babysat through the years the Jones brothers. They babysat Barrett and Harrison and Walker. And now everybody's got babies, and we have Barrett on with us every day. And you go into the commissary in Germantown, and you'll see an autographed football helmet of number 75 of Barrett Jones right there in the lobby. Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, delicious, authentic, screams Memphis-style, great food. Start your feast with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos where they originated. The smoked chicken wings, they're fantastic. All comes with beans, slaw, deviled eggs, bread as well. Get the sandwich, a big sandwich, get the barbecue on a plate, the salads, the chicken plates. Get all this to go to watch football on Saturday. A lot of us, too many of you and people can't go. And you're going to want to watch, though, and you're going to have that tailgate feeling, and you can get it from the commissary, 754-5540, online at commissarybarbecue.com in Collierville and Germantown. You can go to the Collierville location and watch it out on the patio and have plenty of social distancing and watch all the games. They'll be on all day, and you keep up all your favorite games right there at the Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. Again, 754-5540. Or online at commissarybarbecue.com. And don't forget the desserts, lemon icebox pie, banana pudding. They're all spectacular at either commissary.
So most people, almost every prognosticator, has Alabama winning the SEC West. I'll start. And I think they'll begin this weekend with a
loss to Missouri.
A lot of success in Columbia, Missouri. They will beat A&M. They will win in Oxford. They will beat Georgia. They'll win at Tennessee. They will beat Mississippi State. They're going to lose at LSU. I don't have any team perfect, and I think in this crazy year, you're going to get tripped up somewhere. Death
2
Valley,
years in a row for Ed Orgeron over Nick Saban.
Wouldn't that be something? Then they went out Kentucky, Auburn, and at Arkansas. I've got them 9-1.
9-1 for Dave. Drew, go ahead.
All right, I will go before you then. I'll have a win at Missouri. Then we got win at home against A&M, win in Oxford, beat Georgia, beat the Vols, beat State. They do win at Baton Rouge against LSU. I got a win at home against Kentucky. The one loss on the schedule, the Iron Bowl at home against Auburn, but they do win the last game at Arkansas 9-1.
Bama wins big Saturday at Missouri. At one time in the Missouri-Alabama series, it was 2-0 Missouri when Missouri beat them in the Gator Bowl in the late 60s and then beat them on the opening weekend of college football in the mid-70s with Tony Galbraith at tailback. It's been 4 straight for Bama since then. It's been easy for Alabama. It'll be easy Saturday. It'll be easy over A&M. It'll be easy in Oxford over Ole Miss. It won't be easy, but they will win at home against Georgia. That will be probably, until the LSU game, the thinnest margin they will be favored by. They win at Knoxville to keep that streak going. They defeat State. They win at LSU. They win at home against Kentucky. They win the Iron Bowl that will not be the last game of the year this year, but they win their last game of the year at Arkansas. They win the West. They go 10-0, and they go to the SEC championship game for the rematch against Georgia.
Okay. So you've had a couple of perfects and
I've had one perfect.
I mean, one perfect and
2 imperfects.
2, yeah.
And
Okay.
2 9-1s.
2 9-1s. This is going to be fun. It all begins on Saturday. I'm trying to.
Here's a quirk of
think.
Saturday: 7 SEC games. Everybody playing conference, so
Right.
14 teams, 7 games Saturday. 3 games have been teams that have once played in a bowl game. Ole Miss in Florida, late 50s, played in the Gator Bowl. I mentioned Mizzou in Alabama, late 60s, played in a Gator Bowl. Arkansas and Georgia. Most of this was in Arkansas. Well, all of this was in Arkansas. Was in the Southwest Conference.
Yeah.
Southwest, 4 different bowl games: Sugar, Cotton, Independence, and AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Huh. What's the game you think the most compelling? Tennessee, South Carolina. That's got the best line. Kentucky, Auburn. 2 ranked teams.
In that order. That's the order, Dave.
That's probably it. Yeah, I think that is probably it. You mentioned the Sugar Bowl. Makes me think sweet. Well, when I think sweet, what do I think? I think Dinstall's. I think Dinstall's, with about nearly 120 years of sweet memories in football seasons this year. And we can start with those caramel apples, because that's what they got a lot of. No more strawberries, but, to every season. Turn, turn, turn. And now we turn to caramel apples. And, you can get those many different ways. You can get it just the straight caramel. You can get it with the caramel and pecan, or you can get what I call the turtleette apple, which is they drizzle a little bit of chocolate. Well, not a little. They do their chocolate right over the caramel and the pecan with that fresh apple. Ooh, is that ever good? There's still Cashew Crunch. There's Heavenly Crunch. There's everything else except strawberries and the pineapple. But then again, we got apples. Oh, we got caramel corn. I love their caramel corn. And we got it at all 4 locations. All you got to do is go where they make it, Pleasant View, or in my neighborhood in Laurelwood, or you can go to Collierville, or you can go to Germantown. It's everywhere. 120 years of sweet memories. Make one this weekend watching your favorite SEC team. All you got to do is head on over to Dinstall's. That's an hour in the books. When we come back, we go to Orlando, and we'll try to figure out, is this must win for the Lakers tonight? I've been hearing some of the experts say that. We'll see what Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports has to say about all of that. He comes your way next.
It is time for the final clearance sale at James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. Listen to this, 70 to 80% off on all spring and summer merchandise. You heard me, James Davis, 70 to 80% off on all spring and summer merchandise. Unreal selection of sports coats and sports shirts for your next Zoom call. Limited selection of shorts and knits, but there are some. If you get there, you'll get 70 to 80% off. Here's some of the brands you can save on during this incredible sale. Peter Millar, Sandstrom, Mac 5 Pocket. I'm talking 70 to 80% off while it lasts. The only place in Memphis that you can find the Stant custom shirt and pants system. Only at James Davis, this exclusive store for this unique custom fitting apparel where shirts start as low as $98, pants at $168. Go see it to believe it. The clearance sale at James Davis.
Great news, sports fans. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse is now open for dine-in service. Make a reservation and enjoy a mouth-watering steak dinner. Or, if you prefer, take it curbside. In addition to their fantastic steaks, the Butcher Shop Steakhouse has a variety of entrees, including Canadian lobster tail, crab-stuffed shrimp, pan-seared red snapper, and fresh ground steak burger with portobello mushroom sauce. Planning to cook out? The Butcher Shop Steakhouse offers a great selection of fresh Angus beef, hand-cut steaks and burgers, lamb chops, Atlantic salmon, and more. Make your reservation for dine-in or pre-order for curbside pickup. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse. Dine-in, curbside, and delivery. Plus, enjoy the sizzle of top-quality Butcher Shop steaks on your own grill. Call us at 757-4244 and visit our website, thebutchershop.com, for menus and more. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, Walnut Grove and Germantown Parkway.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Get ready to fall in love with driving again in your new Kia from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Get everything you want with the 2020 Forte, just $131 a month. Or hit the road in 2020 Soul, $148 a month. And transform your driving experience this fall in the all-new 2021 K5, now $189 a month. All 36-month leases in just $3149 due at signing. And you'll get peace of mind you can trust with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. It's time to get your Kia on at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $3149 due at signing, 0 security deposit, excludes acquisition fee, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee, Forte LE 2249.63, Soul L712-0906, K5MG 003-199. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 598.75. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Not all customers will qualify.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
My world was strapped against my back. I held my hands, never knew how to act.
Welcome in hour number 2 on a terrific Thursday afternoon. Welcome in. Today the numbers on the COVID, we were triple digits, 147, but that's because there were 3,373 tests, 4.4% positivity. Looking at the positive that way. Today was a day. Dr. Ray had all the high school athletes for fall sports try to meet with him today, and they were rebuffed because he really is locked in his stance, kids' health first, and Shelby County will remain the only school district in the state that will not be playing fall sports, and it looks to me like that line has been drawn. Probably will not be high school football for Shelby County schools this year. Tonight, a big night. We got some baseball, of course, that's for sure. Stanley Cup has the night off. It seems like the NBA does not take a night off, which is good for all of us because we are all locked in. We go down near the bubble in Orlando. Our friend Keith Smith, who writes for Yahoo on the NBA, joins us now. I've heard a lot of these national spokespeople today, talk show hosts, talking about the Lakers must win tonight. Now, they're up 2-1 last time I looked, Keith, but it seems the pressure is on LeBron and AD. Do you buy that theory?
I don't know how much I buy that. I think calling it a must-win is a little tough. I do think if they lose, the pressure turns back on them. We've seen what the Nuggets can do. Being down in the series has no, bearing to them apparently at all. So I do think it turns a little bit. I think Denver really figured some stuff out late in Game 1, and then they put that into play for most of Game 2, and then they really did in Game 3. So I think the Nuggets are milking some of the places where they have advantages, and that's making it tough on the Lakers, and they've got some stuff to figure out before they play tonight.
And, Keith, we were talking yesterday, very compelling 2-1 series, and it speaks for itself if they get to 2-2. But I think still compelling with one that could go to 3-3, that it is at 3-1, and the other one might do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen Denver. They fall behind 3-1. They've got the Lakers
right where they want
them.
Right.
Yeah. The next step is fall behind by double figures in games 5, 6, and 7, and then win and go to the NBA Finals, apparently. But, yeah, I think, Denver can come back. I think with no home court advantage, there is, that factor is very mitigated. These teams are, they're starting from almost an even spot just about every night. These teams are all pretty evenly matched this late in the season. So nothing would surprise me if either side came back and made this thing a series, and if both teams that are down came out the winner.
Well, that's what makes a series. And the truth is, if you're a Denver fan, you can certainly rationalize you should be 2-1. If Plumlee doesn't misplay defensively, how they play that last shot, AD doesn't get the look he's got, and Davis doesn't hit the shot heard around the world, at least for the moment, and it's 2-1 the Denver Nuggets on top. So that's really what you kind of want is inches here and a half a second there, and you've got one heck of a competitive series for sure. I've also heard this other theory from other folks who look at numbers in terms of minutes played and say that in the past you would see a lot more 40-minute games coming from LeBron James. And that LeBron has only one game this whole bubble playoff where he's played 40 minutes, and that he actually sort of looked slow and maybe, dare we say, old in the last game. What is your sense of LeBron James?
Yeah, I'm not going to go quite that far to say that he's, looked old and slow. But what I do think is true is that the Lakers are more reliant on him to create just about everything when he's on the floor than any team he's been on in the past. Maybe except for that very first Cavs team that he took to the finals against the San Antonio Spurs. But obviously with the Heat, he had a great deal of help. When he returned to Cleveland, he still had a great deal of help with that Cleveland team. Now, Anthony Davis is fantastic. That is absolutely true. But he is not a guy who creates offense on his own very often. So they're really throwing the ball to LeBron a lot in the half court, and they're relying on him to create things. They're also asking him to carry a heavier defensive load at times than what he's been used to doing for the last, I would say, season now 2 years, I guess. And I think because of that, they're reluctant to push his minutes up because when he does play, those minutes are so high leverage.
Keith, there have been – Dave thinks – and I'm not taking a shot at John Calipari when I say this, but I think there have been 3 breakout long-term superstars coming out of this bubble in these games. I think number one, Bam Adebayo made the All-Star team, and that kind of speaks for itself. Jamel Murray and Tyler Hero, and all 3 played for Cal at Kentucky. Do you think superstardom for those 3?
Superstardom might be a little bit of a stretch. I tend to reserve that for the top, maybe 5 to 6 guys in the league at any given time are the ones I think true superstars. But stars, absolutely. I think they're all, as you said, Bam Adebayo already an all-star, an all-NBA guy. I think Jamal Murray is going to be knocking on that door next season. And I think Tyler Hero is probably a year or 2 away from being that. I think some of that depends on what his role ultimately ends up being. Does he stay a high-value 6th man, or does he convert into being a starter in the next couple of seasons? But I think all those guys are going to be good. What for me has been interesting is there's been so much discussion about, especially with Adebayo and Hero, is how did teams miss on these guys? How did they drop into the middle of the first round? And I think what happens with the Kentucky players when you're bringing in 5 and 6 All-Americans at a time, those teams are so deep that guys they don't have the chance to shine individually like they would at a lot of other programs. So they're not going to show off everything that they can do because they're probably playing 20, 25 minutes a night maybe instead of 30 or 35 at the college level. And I think when that happens, it makes it a little bit harder to get a full read. And then these guys get into the NBA, and all of a sudden it's like, I didn't know he could do that. And then also, for both Adebayo and Hero, all the credit in the world to them and the Miami Heat coaching staff and training staff for getting them to this point.
I'm along your lines when it comes to superstar. First of all, I think 5 or 6 may be too many. I think it's 3 or 4. I think they have to not only be prolific scorers, but they have to do something else that wins games under pressure. I think there has to be a charisma about them that makes you want to see them off the court or know about their personalities or something of that nature. I think Murray's got a chance to be a superstar. I think Hero's got a chance to be a superstar. I'm not sure Adebayo does. But I think those other 2 guys can hit incredibly precious, incredibly pressure-packed shots because they're going to go. You're not going to Bam Adebayo with the game on the line. He may create something, make a defensive play for you, but the play is going to be drawn up for Hero or for Murray. I didn't see 37 points in a playoff game, winning that game from Tyler Hero.
Keith Smith, did you?
Hey, let's not forget the NBA press that picked the All-Stars or the Rookies of the Year and the All-Rookie team. Tyler Hero wasn't even the best rookie on his team. He was second string.
Remember, I picked him.
I know you did, and I think you were brilliant
just to
in doing
be different.
That. I thought Nunn was actually
different.
Well,
it was brilliant.
I thought Nunn was actually the better regular season guy, but Hero's really emerged. I mean, who saw what happened the other night? Who saw that coming? Keith?
Well, I don't think anybody did because it's the first guy to do that at that point in his career since Magic Johnson. And when you're sharing company with Magic Johnson, then that means you're doing something pretty amazing. So yeah, no one really saw that coming. But I said this earlier today is I think Tyler Hero, more than any player in the entire NBA, used the hiatus to get better. What he was able to do when he came into the league, the impression was, all right, this guy's going to be a pretty good shooter, and he'll be a competitive defender, and he might add a little bit on the board. Then when the season went along, it was, all right, he can handle the ball a little bit, but he's mostly, making plays for himself and those kind of things. When he came back out of the hiatus, he had clearly spent, I don't know how many hours during that time dribbling a basketball, but his handle was tighter than it's ever been. His shooting off the dribble, better than it's ever been. His passing, his floor vision, everything there, better than it's ever been. And that takes him from being a real 2-guard who might have needed some help to create shots to being one of the guys now you can play as a true combo guard, put the ball in his hands, and trust that something good's going to come of it.
I loved your take, by the way, on why these Kentucky guys get taken a little bit further down. But I do think we really have to applaud John Calipari. And keep in mind, Keith, we got to know John quite well, all of us here in Memphis during his
Dave
9-year
particularly, though.
stay.
Dave really close.
And I don't think,
and I'm not knocking him. I'm just talking
No,
championships, and that's a big bar. He's got one.
Yeah.
He's in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't care what I think.
He doesn't care what anybody thinks now. He's laughing all the way to the bank. But
right.
here's the truth.
Damn what he never did.
You got to give this guy credit because he takes folks and he
Oh,
develops
he
them.
assembles
There
them.
is no question that he makes guys better.
Yeah, absolutely. He gets in. I like to think what he does is he takes great athletes who are pretty good basketball players and turns them into great athletes who become great basketball players.
Right on.
That's how I've thought. That goes all the way back to when he was coaching UMass. When I was living and growing up in Massachusetts and he was there, that UMass team achieved heights that program, hasn't seen ever. They made it to a Final Four, and that was something that was almost like out of a storybook. And I think John Calipari, there's in the NBA community, there's always kind of but he failed in the NBA. Well, that's okay. Some guys aren't cut out to be the grind of NBA coaches. Some guys aren't cut out to be college coaches. We've seen that over the years. Some guys get to the NBA, and the last thing they ever want to do is go back to the college game. And that's not a knock on guys one way or another. I mean, we saw, Coach K went and led the team to great success, great heights as the national team coach. And then, and there's a question of, but could he do it in the NBA? Maybe, but do we even need to find out? Why do we need to know? We just know he's a great basketball coach for where he is and what he's been asked to do. So that's my kind of always been my take on John Calipari is, why would he ever leave at this point to, challenge himself for something when he's already doing it at a very high level at a very, very good school?
So we talked a little bit about the Lakers tonight. Celtics and Miami, is that over? Is Miami too much now with that lead?
Yeah, it's starting to look that way. Most of the reason why I say that is I thought the Celtics came out very flat. I thought they, were really sleepwalking through most of the first half, especially Jason Tatum, who went scoreless in the first half of the game. He finished with 28 points, so he stepped it up in a big, big way in the second half. But had he, been engaged at all in the first half, Boston probably wins that game. And what's tough is the Celtics, I think, throughout the course of this series have shown that they probably are the better team, but Miami executes at a higher level and Miami cares more. So that's all that really matters in the end. It doesn't matter, how many times you took big leads and those kind of things. There's a stat floating around that they're tied in points scored both ways after 4 games, which is interesting. But the only stat that really matters to this point is the one on the scoreboard. Now, could they come back and win down 3-1? Sure, we've seen that, but I just don't expect it.
I don't either.
It's the only one that matters. That scoreboard's the truth teller of life, isn't it, Keith?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, once you get to into a playoff series, you're Brad Stevens, I think, has the right approach of you can't win 3 games on Friday, so you just worry about winning Friday's game. Hopefully that keeps you alive. Then you worry about Sunday's game, and you go forward like that. But I think overall, when you look up, if you're Miami, now you've got a little bit of a margin of error here. You could lose a couple games and still win the series. Now, I think if Boston can win the next game, Miami, maybe they start to, all right, this 3-1 thing's been a thing here in the bubble. All right, and if Boston wins the next one, now the pressure can, kind of flips back over to the Heat side. But it's all about getting that next win. And the Celtics are going to have to play with a sense of urgency that, quite frankly, we just really haven't seen from them at any point in this, bubble playoffs.
Last thing for Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports down in Orlando. So you're there, and the commissioner was on some sort of deal that Bob Costas was interviewing
Bob Costas.
him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he basically said, we probably will not start until next January. Is that, you think, pretty well locked in now?
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance we're seeing anything before, I would even say mid-January is likely. This season's going to wrap up, mid-October-ish is when the finals will probably wrap up. And then that's going to give the team, if they go into mid-January, that gives them about 3 months off, which is about normal. That starts to put them more on a normal time off schedule as far as things go. The challenge is going to be is there's a couple things that the NBA is having to work around here. Is one, there's some arena availability issues with things that had already been booked out, but that one they're not overly concerned about because who the heck knows what the world is going to look like going forward. The other one is the Olympics. If you start in January, you're not going to be done in time for these guys to play in the Olympics next year if those go off as rescheduled. So that's a challenge because for a lot of these players, the Olympics is a huge, huge deal for them. Not just the international guys. I know everybody goes there, but for the United States players as well, that's a chance to really, get brand awareness, build themselves as a personal brand on the big stage. And then the last thing, and this is the big stumbling block if they want to change this calendar permanently, is what do they do with Major League Baseball and the 22 teams that share a regional sports network with a Major League Baseball team? That is such a massive challenge. When it's 2 weeks in April in a normal season, no big deal. A lot of early baseball games, a lot of day games, a lot of off days early in the baseball season. No problem. You get it figured out. Now you're potentially talking months of overlap, 2-3 months. That becomes a huge challenge because neither one of those sides wants to give up any of their TV dates more than they have to. So that's going to be something to really keep an eye on and watch here as this thing develops because there's a lot of things in play. And with the NBA being insistent, we're going to play an 82-game schedule next season, no matter when that season starts. It's getting really tough to see how do you get that locked in and still allow for these other things to happen.
What I sense happens there is technology will be the solution. Streaming is already in place, and the networks as we know them, as you mentioned, and in Memphis, it's Fox Sports that does the Grizzlies, and we get the Cardinals, St. Louis baseball Cardinals on Fox Sports. So I understand that dilemma. But with streaming and all the ways that we have now to get this new technology, you could still do top-notch productions. You might not have the studio the way you did. It would all have to be, again, streamed in-house. But that probably will end up being the solution for all of that. Keith, thank you so much. We appreciate it
Great
as always. And we will chat with you in a week. We'll have a championship series to talk about.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me back. You all stay safe, you and yours.
Thank you. Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports down in Orlando.
Thank you, Keith. And that was a great explanation on the calendar involving the Olympics, if that still is sacrosanct to the league, and if the IOC can really go forward with it. Look, we're still very much in a virus world. We all know that. We probably will be into next year. If you work in a salon, a restaurant, a grocery store, a warehouse, a first responder, gas station, correctional facility, then you're an essential worker. And if you would like a COVID-19 test but do not have symptoms, or if you have symptoms, plan now to get your free COVID-19 test Monday through Friday at Christ Community Health Services. That's 1720 RKS Commercial Cove, formerly the Auto Inspection Station off of Lamar. Don't wonder about COVID-19. Get your free COVID-19 test. Text TEST 2020 to 91999 to schedule your testing. Here it is again. Text TEST 2020 to 91999 to schedule your testing. Christ Community Health Services, they offer free COVID-19 tests daily, testing essential workers, asymptomatic individuals. If you think you've been exposed, text TEST 2020 to 91999.
Just to clarify, that you are actually texting the first word as test, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. What will happen? I hadn't thought of that. I thought about these overlapping networks, and that's where I figure streaming and new technology will come forth. I don't think that's going to be as big an issue. But you are so right on the money
late July.
About what will they do about the Olympics. And I would guess teams that have stars that are not playing in the playoffs, those would be the ones that would go, right?
Yes, and Dave, even if we had to see, and I don't want to say this and it sounds derisive, but if we had to send, they've come up with me a word for B team that's not B team. If we had to send an auxiliary starting team.
So here's what you do: you would send the stars that are available, the best players that are available, and let's just say this: we all know that it's a rough road for the Grizzlies to make the playoffs next year because every team has gotten so much better.
But Ja on that Olympic team or Jaren would be fun.
Exactly, Ja or Jaren could make that team, and on every team,
Brandon Clark could make it for his home country.
Let's say the Pelicans don't make it. Here's Zion. Every team has a really great player.
And it's a league issue, not just through the prism of the United States.
No.
It's Jamal Murray wanting to play for Canada.
That's right. That is right. And he probably would not, because I got the feeling Denver will be in the playoffs. But you sign to play with a league. When you sign with a team, that's the way that would work. All right, I know we have to pick our Thursday night football game of the week for our Friday football forecast. That'll come your way full tomorrow. Okay.
Jacksonville, 3.5 over Miami. So that's Gardner Minshew minus 3.5 over Fitzmagic. Dave for the year. You're 19-10. People ride the Wolo train right now. Choo choo.
Wow. Do you hear
Please
that?
don't save that. Please don't save that, Drew.
No, that has to be saved.
You know I have to save
Drew, that has to be saved.
Oh, God.
That's going to go right after my woo.
Oh, why'd I have to go and do that to myself?
Yeah.
I'll have it in by today.
By today? Love it. Perfect. All right, so I'll start since I'm on fire. What are you guys? I'm
19-10.
What about my point
You're
total?
19-10. You're a lusty 13 points. Baker's dozen, cousin. That's only up 19 on me and only up 16 on Drew.
Man.
You almost have us dorming. You're 11-5 in college football. You're 8-5 in the NFL. That's 19-10.
Wow.
Drew, you are 13-16.
I'd be rich if I actually believed in myself. What was he?
Drew's 13-16. You'd be running heat. You'd have the heat on one end of the house running and the air conditioner on the other end if you were really playing your 19-10 record.
Yeah, I would. I would.
You could have them fighting each other in the middle.
Oh man,
the middle of your home would be more Oklahoma.
I don't think Miami's very good. They haven't won a game. They average about 19 points a game. The Gardner Minshew Jaguars are averaging 10 points a game more. And, I'm always leery of a team when they're 0-2. I got to be honest with you. I'm really leery because they play their rear ends off. Because if you're 0-3, you're just about done. So, keeping in mind there is this real fight factor, and but they don't have enough talent. And this Minshew thing is really fun. I'm going to keep riding Gardner Minshew. I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I'll give away the 3.5. I talked myself into it.
You give away the 3.5. Drew?
I had them covering last week as my shock in the NFL. I'll stick with them. Give me Jacksonville.
I'm going to take Fitzmagic.
I knew there had
Give
to
me
be
the
something.
3.5.
I knew that was not going to be a group lock.
No.
What are
And
we with group locks now?
3-8 on the year.
How can that be? These brilliant minds of ours, and as a group, we are that
Think of somebody
poor?
Think of somebody riding the group lock 3-8.
Oh
They're really
my
sleeping
gosh.
cold and lonely tonight.
Boy.
Cold, hungry, lonely, sad.
And not very
Cable
bright.
already may be
not
out.
very bright to listen to us. That is
And trying to build up a war chest in the early part of the year. War chest gone. War chest evaporated.
That would be gone for sure. Whew, man. All right.
No more sound effects. Stop me while I'm behind, please.
Drew and I go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're giving 3.5 to Brett, who is taking the Miami Dolphins. This portion of the show, in fact, this hour of the program is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch and Genesis of Olive Branch. I had a friend today I went to lunch with, and as we were walking out, he looked at my brand new car, and he said, wow, that car, that Sonata is beautiful. He's right. I got this new car. It's 2021 technology. They wanted me to try this new thing, Smart Park, where I can actually get out of the car, park it, move it, get it back out with my key fob. I mean, it is amazing stuff. The technology in these cars, all the Hyundais, whether that be a Tucson, a Veloster, a Santa Fe, or a G70, a G90, and the new SUV is coming. And the 2021s have already, they've arrived. That SUV has not come from Genesis yet, but it's on the way. I'm just telling you, it is spectacular. And when you talk about safety, Hyundai was tied for the most number of top safety pick vehicles for all of 2020, and they're only getting better, like this new Sonata technology I got in 2021. Please go see for yourself. See why this team, and by the way, they always are the number one certified pre-owned car dealer in Memphis. They've done that 12 years in a row. Ray Melton's got that thing covered. Please go see what I'm talking about. These guys have been together for 13 years. Service beyond compare. They've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. We take the break, and when we come back, we'll talk NFL football. We will chat with our good friend. That would be Russell Copeland, former NFL star, former Tiger. He is next.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Frontier Western Store is open and ready to serve you for all your needs in boots, apparel, pet food, and more. Frontier is proud to be a local leader here in the Mid-South when it comes to boots. Stop by the store today for an incredible selection of name brand work and dress boots. Come browse aisles and aisles of top quality boots at everyday low prices in our world famous boot showroom. Dan Post, Rocky, Durango, Twisted X, Georgia, Ariat, and many more. There are so many styles, colors, and fits available, you might need a hand picking out your favorites. Luckily, Frontier's knowledgeable sales staff will cheerfully assist you with any questions you have and ensure the proper fit of your new boots. Frontier also has an amazing selection of jeans and shirts by Wrangler, Ariat, and Carhartt, as well as a fully stocked women's boutique department with thousands of tops and dresses at unbelievable prices. New arrivals often. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Gilman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
In today's world, a lot is going on, but one thing is always true. You need to take care of yourself. The skin clinics can help. Age, diet, genetics, and current events can conspire to make you look and feel much older than you are. It doesn't have to be that way. Call the skin clinics and let their expertly trained nurses, estheticians, and staff choose the treatment that best suits you and your pocket. There's so much you can do. Consider skin resurfacing and rejuvenation, lash extensions and specialty brows, injectables, medical-grade chemical peels, laser hair reduction, waxing, facials, makeup applications, and even services just for men. The Skin Clinics has it all in a caring, safe environment, always observing current social distancing guidelines. Go to theskinclinic.com to find out more and call today for your appointment at 901-345-SKIN. That's 901-345-SKIN. Taking care of yourself is good for you and your loved ones. Come to the Skin Clinics, 1300 Wolf Park Drive in Germantown.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join Pete Cordelli and me for Sidelines, Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. on Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1 FM. We'll cover the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, recruiting. Hey, if they keep score, we're covering it. Check us out on the website at sports56whbq.com and sidelines.live. Sidelines is brought to you by Duncan Williams Asset Management. Saturday mornings, 8 to 10 a.m. Get up and give us a call.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Halfway through our Thursday, we're going to talk some NFL football with Russell Copeland in a minute. There is a baseball story that is coming out of Oxford, Mississippi. Multiple members of the Ole Miss baseball team have tested positive for COVID-19. School is breaking this story. As a result, their activities have been suspended until October 8th. The student-athletes affected are taking appropriate safety measures in accordance with university protocol. And Brett, the first thing came into my mind when I thought about that was, well, there's plenty of time. You know, baseball's not going to be played for a while. And October 8th isn't bad. But if they're on campus and this has happened, there's a football game on campus on Saturday that you got to be worried about. And hopefully this has not spread. It is confined to just the baseball facilities where they have been working out. In the meantime, we love talking football. We've got a game tonight. We've already made our picks on Jacksonville and Miami. Let's bring in our football analyst in the NFL. That would be Russell Copeland, former pro player, former Tiger, played in Super Bowls. Let me ask you this. They did a check of MetLife Field in New York where the Giants and the Niners, or the Jets and the Niners, played. And there were so many injuries, and they said, well, there's nothing wrong with the field, even though the Niners were saying it felt sticky. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, or let's just take a look around the league. Last week there were 21 injuries. Most of those 21 were pretty darn severe. Several ACLs where key players like Nick Bosa, out for the year. And Saquon Barkley. The Bears ended up taking Saquon Barkley out with what was a clean play. Why so many devastating injuries so early? Does this have to do with exhibition games not being played? Does this have anything to do with irregular camps, not like we normally see them?
You know, Dave, I've really been looking at that, and I've never seen 7 ACL injuries in 1 week, and you mentioned it was over 20 injuries, and I just have to look at the training resume that you have in March and April and May and June. Even though you are not having physical contact, your body has to get used to cutting. Your body has to get used to playing. And also when you do get into camp, your body has been doing those type of movements as far as offensive line, defensive line, and then you move into the physical play as far as camp. And I just have to wonder, and it's a question, I can't just say and pinpoint that's the reason, but I do have to look at it and say, hey, these guys did not get a chance to do what their body normally does. And I just think there is a correlation between all the time off and then not being able to have the preseason games with no OTAs and then just going strictly full speed and full contact. That's just my observation of it, but I do think there is a correlation.
You know what? I think you're right on the money. And I've been sitting here because the quality of football, I think, has been terrific. I really do. Much better than I had anticipated without the exhibition season. Mm-hmm. And so I've been going, you know what, they're going to do away with the exhibition season. We'll probably play 2 games. Mm-hmm. But now I may have to rethink that again. And this will be an ongoing dialogue here because we're all going to try to think through this. But mm-hmm. This is either absolute sheer coincidence, or there is something to, as you said, getting used to contacts, getting used to severe cuts, and having some pressure while playing in competition that gets you more ready. Because there seems to be a thing.
Taking the lid off.
Yeah, it seems to be a thing to it.
And really, what's ironic, guys, for me is that no preseason games. You're looking at the injury aspect of it. Hey, you're only going to play 2 preseason games, or you may not have any preseason games. You're looking at the guys being able to play and come into full season without injuries, but it has been opposite of that, and I think that's the irony of it. So I think you'll definitely look at it. But to answer your first question, Dave, I do not think it was anything wrong with MetLife Field, because if that was the case, we would have been seeing a lot of injuries on the opposite side of the football.
Yeah, and late in his career with some particularly ankle issues and lower extremity issues, Eli Manning never had anything. Now, some may say he may have not gotten moving fast enough if he had cut to hurt anything.
Yeah, but he didn't play on that field, though. That's the weird thing. It's a brand new field.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That was torn out. Okay, I didn't realize that aspect of it. I just don't think they've ever made a good AstroTurf field, Russell, and there are a lot of them that are shaky. Tonight's game, odd question. We've had our fun with Gardner Minshew. He's had his fun with the Jags. Is he playing to win the Jaguar job at quarterback, or is he playing to find a place in the NFL like on the other side has found, like Fitzmagic has found, like Ryan Fitzpatrick has found? Is Minshew playing to lead the Jaguars, or just find a place somewhere for anybody in the NFL, Russell?
I think he's being the ultimate professional, and the reason why I say that, when you look at the Jaguars, I did not think that they would be 2-0 going into tonight's game, especially when you look at the offseason losses they had with Nick Foles, Fournette. You had A.J. Boye, Ramsey, Calais Campbell. You lost a lot of pieces. So that shows you that this young man right here is saying, hey, I wasn't a high draft pick. I want to go out and take my opportunities and take my chances, and I'm going to go out and perform well as a professional. And if it's good enough to get a contract for the Jacksonville Jaguars, then so be it. If not, I think there's room for me to go to another team and be able to pick up a big contract, just as if you see what happened with Bridgewater with the Saints and go ahead and get a big contract with the Carolina Panthers.
While we're talking quarterbacks, I've got to ask you, is this a medical thing? And the story with Tyrod Taylor, and really he could lose his job forever now, because I think this Justin Herbert's pretty darn good. But have you ever been in a locker room where a team doctor made such a blunder that not only could the guy not play in the game, but his life was put in jeopardy while getting a pain injection? The guy slipped and punctured his lung. Have you ever seen anything like that in all your locker rooms in all your years?
Dave, that was really mind-boggling to me, and I've had some pain shots administered in my ribs. And I just think the biggest thing for me is that when you look at Tyrod, he wasn't able to play, and he kept complaining about breathing. For me, when did the doctor realize that he had punctured his lung? Did he not know that he went too far? Did he not think that, hey, man, I could have done something? So to me, the actions after, to me, is questionable for me, especially when you have a team doctor and a doctor that has done this numerous times. I think it's very questionable, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that from a legal standpoint with Tyrod, his career, losing his job, and also his health from this standpoint.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife about this, and she said to me, is it legal for them to give you pain killer shots? And I said, well, honey, I think it is. It's up to the patient, the player, and the doctor, right? I mean, that's the way it works. And what do you think is the percentage of players that would go, yeah, I want to play in this game, do whatever it takes?
I think it'll probably be 99% of the players.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And Dave, just like I said, you know, the competition, guys, is so high. You want to get out and play. You want to perform well. And you just want to play. You're a grown up, but you're still playing a little kid sport. You love it. You enjoy it. You want to be out there. So most guys will say, hey, give me the injection and let me go play.
Yeah, can't get paid if you're in the hot tub. And those guys, and a lot of it, Russell, it's young and maybe a little on the naive side. When they get older, they may think, I shouldn't have done this. It's why I always marveled at and love the memory and the legacy of Steve McNair when he played in those playoff games. This is almost hard to describe, that he had the muscle torn loose from several rib bones. The muscle torn loose.
God, that's
the only thing that fixes that,
cringe.
The only thing that fixes it, gets that well, is time. And they shot him up before the game, shot him up at halftime, and he had to wear a flak jacket out there to lessen the pain. Man, that was one tough man.
Definitely, Steve was, and I played with Jim Kelly as well. Very tough. Just like I said, players want to get out and play on the field. And what's unfortunate about it, sometimes you get out and you play, and you're not 100%, you take a lot of flack from us in the media because you want 100%, and we saw that with Cam Newton.
So tonight's game.
All right, Sunday. I'm sorry. Yeah, tonight. Let's start with tonight. I'm sorry.
Tonight's game, we have a little split here. Drew and I think it's Minshew time, and Brett's gone with Miami. How do you see this game, Russell?
Well, we've talked about what Minshew has been able to do, and it is the battle of the mustache versus the beard. I just think when I look at Brian Flores and I look at all the acquisitions that he's gotten on defense, they have not showed up to play. I think he gets his football team ready to play. I think we'll see Ryan Fitzpatrick does what he does. It's time for him to have a big game. He's always up and down. Give me the Miami Dolphins to get into the win column and then give Jacksonville their first loss. So I'm going with the Dolphins.
Boy, and Sunday's schedule, it's fantastic.
It is.
Monday night game's great. Russell, you start with whatever game you want to pick out. You've got a good breakdown on all of them, but the entire NFL schedule is wonderful. On Sunday, you got Seattle and the Cowboys. Sunday night, you got the Saints and Green Bay.
Oh, those two games
and
right
next Monday
there.
night, the early game of the year. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start with, I think that could possibly be the AFC Championship game. I like Kansas City versus Baltimore. When I look at both of these football teams, they're a match for it. When I look at Kansas City, we know what Kansas City can do. They have the number 2 offense, but guess who has the number 1 offense? It's the Baltimore Ravens. When I look at the difference in these football teams, Baltimore Ravens has the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense. And I feel like there's a young man by the name of Lamar Jackson. He's looking and saying, hey, I was the MVP. This year you won the Super Bowl. Last year, who was the MVP? We know who that was. It was Patrick Mahomes. I look overall, I think Baltimore Ravens has probably the most talented roster offensively and defensively. And I think they have a defense that could possibly slow down Kansas City. Give me the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore's won I want to say it's 14 regular season games in a row. They got a heck of a streak that is going there. How about Seattle and Dallas? I think Dallas obviously is very fortunate to even be 1-1. They should be 0-2. Seattle is for real. How do you break that one down?
Well, Dave, you talked about the Dallas Cowboys, and they are very fortunate, but I think you still have to be able to give them credit to stay in that football game, to come back and fight. And what Dak Prescott was able to do, an outstanding football game. He scored, I think, 5 touchdowns. He brought his team back. And that's the type of game that you want the Dallas Cowboys quarterback to lead his team to. But when you look at the Seattle Seahawks, you look at Russell Wilson, I think he's probably the most underrated great player that we've seen in a long time. And offensively and defensively, their defense is getting back to what they used to be. I like them offensively going against that secondary and that banged-up Dallas linebacker core. Give me the Seattle Seahawks going against the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are fortunate, but I think when I look at it offensively and defensively, I think the Seahawks offensively can attack that secondary, and I think their defense can get after Dak Prescott and make him have a couple of turnovers.
I am.
Well, what a matchup! Those quarterbacks, those coaches, and really those histories. So Dallas a while ago and Seattle more recently.
Well, we get one more before we say goodbye to Russell Copeland, and that's Green Bay in Green Bay against New Orleans. I think that game's in Green Bay, isn't it?
It's in New.
Oh, it's in New Orleans. Okay.
Yeah.
The Saints. And Drew Brees hasn't been exactly on the money so far, but Aaron Rodgers has been. As much as I hate to admit that, Green Bay has really looked good. How do you break down that big game Sunday night?
Man, that's a huge game in the NFC. Both of these football teams were 13-3 last year. When I look at the Packers have a running game. Aaron Rodgers is playing MVP type of football. I think for them, when you look at their secondary, I think they need to get a little bit better. They got a good pass rush, but they need to get a little bit better. We talk about the Saints, and everyone is saying Drew Brees does not look the same as Drew Brees. But when you look at it, it's early in the football season. I think he has lost his safety blanket. Give him another game. Give Sean Payton another week, which is this week, to prepare. I think they play a lot better. I think Alvin Kamara comes out and gets in the running game. Emmanuel Sanders will play a lot better than what he did last week. I'm going to take the Saints to bounce back at home and give Green Bay their first loss.
Wow. I am against you in 2 games this week. Rarely does that occur. We shall see. Thank you, my friend, as always. We appreciate it, and we'll talk with you next Thursday.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Russell
Thank you,
Copeland on the National Football League. He's brought to you in part by Brian Elder Roofing Solutions. You know, Brian, He really wants to get out there and take a look at your roof. Yeah, you haven't looked at that roof in 10 years probably. If you had a second layer put on, maybe even had a tear off that you did 7-8 years ago, you think everything is great. You don't even look up at your roof inside. Please check. And if you see stains, get them out there immediately. Sometimes with all the rain or the wind damage we've had, it's not on you. And he can find out. Check it out for your insurance company, 867-0303. This is what they are good at. They are good at coming out and making sure they find out what is your problem and then how to fix it. They use only the best products on the market, and they will provide their customers with the best warranty going. It's called the No Questions Asked warranty. They will take care of it all. And they only use the newest in technology. That's the truth. Latest equipment, and so good they could measure your roof from outer space. So if you haven't looked at that roof in a while or you suspect any problems, please call a simple number, 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. That's the number for Brian Elder Roofing Solutions. Let us take a quick timeout. When we come back, it'll be time for us to pick the Ole Miss Rebels, W's and L's. That's next.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The day has come for huge savings at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat with Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days going strong on Covington Pike. Get 0% APR plus no payments for 90 days. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee Latitude IIHS Top Safety Pick, $21,740 or $275 a month. 2020 Dodge Challenger, a muscle car with best-in-class cargo volume, $24,690 or $318 a month. 2020 Dodge Charger, America's fastest four-door muscle car, $24,990 or $329 a month. And 2020 Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab, $366 a month. Drive past the rest. Come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, 1901 Covington Pike. Online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 3.99 APR, 3,500 down. Must finance through Chrysler, Cherokee, LD 561583, Challenger, LH 214,740, Charger, LH 116,732, 1500, LS 139,171. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We are about to make our picks for the Ole Miss Rebels football season. I believe the preseason SEC basketball poll is coming out. I got to try to see if I can find that, and we'll chat about that before the day is done.
I'm glad we're talking about preseason basketball and the plans starting to be made for college basketball. Look, some people are making their plans right now, maybe for an early dinner, and if you are, Jason's Deli. What a great spot. And on a day like this, kind of cooler, first kind of raw day of the year, how about those soups like the broccoli cheese soup or the chicken noodle, the fire-roasted tortilla, the tomato basil, the spicy seafood gumbo. I love the chili with the cheese and the sour cream and the onions on top, the chicken pot pie. That sounds like a good one on a cooler day like this. If you're thinking about an early dinner right now, think about Jason's Deli, Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. all those salads, all those meats, all those cheeses, breads and spreads, and they love to say wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli. And if you're in any of the locations, you always can wrap it up with free ice cream. Catering anytime, anywhere for game watching this weekend. There's a college game tonight. There's a college game tomorrow night. Of course, the NFL, the NBA, all the baseball. Get some food from Jason's Deli. All about choice at Jason's Deli. Healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free, plenty of organic food to choose from, and the great salad bar. Over 30 items just on that salad bar. They will prepare it for you now, and you tell them exactly how you want it, and they will prepare that salad just like you want it, instead of you doing it for yourself in these very cautious and careful, health-conscious times. At Jason's Deli, locations on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com. Dave, I was thinking, the earliest we get to eat dinner every night is 6 o'clock, but normally on weekends I do like to eat around this time a little bit early because I'm old. I've got a jacket on in September. But I was looking over these SEC coaches, and I'm officially old. Gus Malzahn was in school with me as a walk-on at Arkansas. Ed Orgeron was in the strength and conditioning coach when I was in school at Arkansas. I covered Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp playing at Georgia. I can remember Jeremy Pruitt very well as a great special teams player at Alabama. And I can remember Lane Kiffin's dad is D coordinator for Lou Holtz at Arkansas. It's happened.
Well,
I'm old.
I hate to say this, but do you remember Mark Gottfried?
Yeah.
So I covered his dad coaching SIU.
He had another brother that was AD, wasn't he? That was AD like at South Alabama, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Gottfried family is really wonderful. I really love Joe. Mark is
Ron
a great
Franklin
guy,
and
too.
Mark Gottfried were that was the Saturday night ESPN college football team now.
They were what Fowler and Herb Street are now. They were the top team. And then really Musburger took that, I think, over from them.
And Dave, I think earlier I didn't mean to be dismissive towards you or blunt when I was talking about that short list that Mario Cristobal might be on someday. Yeah. And you ask about Kirby, and I said no way. Kirby Smart's in his dream job. He grew up in Bainbridge, Georgia, son of Coach Sonny Smart. Played at Georgia when he was playing there. Claude Felton, their great SID, told me, he said, "That guy's going to be our head coach someday."
Well,
and he is.
The other thing everybody mentions Dabo. You mentioned Dabo. In my estimation, why would Dabo leave? Dabo is the Bear Bryant or Nick Saban of Alabama. Why would you leave that?
Of Clemson, yeah, he's not going to leave that.
Yeah,
that's right. Then I think it'll get down to if he wins enough. Jeremy Pruitt, who just got 2 years tacked on, and Mario Cristobal, Billy Napier, and those names. All right, Ole Miss, I'll start. Saturday's going to be tough for Ole Miss. Dan Mullen's got his program rolling, especially after no spring and the truncated fall camp. Florida wins. They go to Kentucky next week, maybe the best Kentucky team since Bear Bryant was at Kentucky. A loss there for Ole Miss, a loss to Alabama at home. Then they go to Fayetteville with a win. They lose at home against Auburn. They win at Vandy. They win against South Carolina and Oxford, so that's 3 wins. They lose at College Station to A&M. They win the Egg Bowl, not the last game of the year, but they lose the last game of the year to LSU. I have Ole Miss 4 wins, 6 losses.
I've got them losing to Florida. I agree with you. I think Kentucky is a trendy pick for a reason. I think they're good. They'll lose there. They'll lose to Alabama. The one win this year, as I mentioned earlier, that Arkansas gets will be at home against Ole Miss. They'll lose to Auburn. They'll beat Vandy. They'll beat South Carolina in Oxford. They'll lose at A&M. They'll win the Egg Bowl. They'll lose at LSU. I have the Rebels 3-7 in this first year under Lane Kiffin.
I've got a very slow start off for the Rebels and Lane Kiffin, losing the first 5 weeks, actually not picking up a first W till October 31st at Vandy, then winning back-to-back games, getting the dub at home against South Carolina, losing to A&M, beating State in the Egg Bowl, and losing at LSU to end the season 3-7.
You copy and pasted me again.
I was having a conversation.
I know.
I would have saved some time, but
I understand. So 3-7,
What's the
3-7,
breakthroughs?
4-6. Oh, breakthrough.
What are some breakthroughs?
There's plenty of breakthrough games. They could surprise Kentucky at Kentucky, depending on which quarterback is playing.
One up there in 2017 in a wild fashion with Tiamu late to DK Metcalf, but I just don't know if the personnel is what it was in 2017 for Ole Miss, and Kentucky's has increased.
You've got a winning at Arkansas. I do not, but they could win that game clearly. They could beat Auburn at home. Well, we got to see what happens with Auburn.
8th year for Gus Malzahn at Auburn. Time flies, doesn't it?
Boy, that is hard to believe. 8th year. Wow. Okay. That is 2 hours in the books. When we come back, we'll talk Tiger football. I'll sort of repeat what I had said with my conversation today when shooting the Ryan Silverfield TV show. We'll get into all of that in just a second. Greg Gaston's going to join us. This final portion of hour number 2 is brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, the tune-up. And, that tune-up is $69, and John's always throwing something extra in. So this time around, he's going to include a heating system safety check, no charge. They're going to check for carbon monoxide. They do this test. That's all in there, along with the 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up, and, of course, going outside and cleaning out that outside unit, getting rid of all the leaves and grime. They do it all for $69, including the free carbon monoxide test. All you got to do is make the call, 384-3511. Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, electric service company, and that wonderful 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up. They are the best. That's 2 hours in the books. Mr. Gaston is next.
I'm here with the outstanding team from Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Gary, tell everyone how they can experience the Lexus of Memphis satisfaction.
Come in and be a part of our family at Lexus of Memphis. Experience the customer service that we provide to each guest like a member of our own family. If you're on the side of the road and you need us, we're there. If you need help with anything with your car, technology, Bluetooth, the app suite, we have a dedicated team to help you with this in your journey with your Lexus.
That's how they do it at Lexus of Memphis.
When the idea of divorce becomes a reality, you need someone on your side. If you are a man in this situation, you should consider contacting Cordell & Cordell, who has helped men navigate complex family legal issues for 30 years. Visit us at CordellCordell.com to learn more.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Memphis attorneys. Online at CordellCordell.com. Office in Memphis, 6000 Poplar Avenue, Suite 225, Memphis, Tennessee, 38119.
Get ready to fall in love with driving again in your new Kia from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Get everything you want with the 2020 Forte, just $131 a month. Or hit the road in 2020 Soul, $148 a month. And transform your driving experience this fall in the all-new 2021 K5, now $189 a month. All 36-month leases in just $3149 due at signing. And you'll get peace of mind you can trust with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. It's time to get your Kia on at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month leases, $3149 due at signing, 0 security deposit, excludes acquisition fee, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, $650 acquisition fee, Forte LE 2249.63, Soul L712-0906, K5MG 003-199. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 598.75. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Not all customers will qualify.
Brandon Gaudin here from Westwood One with a Thursday night football preview. Derek Rackley and I will call the action from Jacksonville when the Jags play host to the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Jaguars won their opener but lost a close one last week to the Titans. And head coach Doug Marrone said this week that the process of improving doesn't mean losing is acceptable.
I think that these guys that are playing are going to continue to get better. I don't want to say, growing pains, because I really feel like these guys can do it, even though there might be plays where, they may lose, and that's part of football. We've got to learn from these things and continue to push to get better and get back on this winning side of things.
Join us for the Dolphins at the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Right now, you can soak in the savings at the Home Depot's Days of Doing Bath event with new low prices on the latest, greatest faucets. Vanities from as little as $159. Plus, get up to 40% off all online bath essentials, as well as free delivery for online vanities. So relax and restore your space with beautiful bath savings now at homedepot.com/bath. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Valid through September 27th, U.S. only.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
A lot to do in this next hour, and we visit with Greg Gaston from the sidelines and talk Tigers football. We also will visit with Tim Dooley and talk Major League Baseball and also the baseball team COVID cluster at Ole Miss that is breaking now, and hope it is confined to just to those youngsters, but hope they get well, but that it's not a campus-wide outbreak that would jeopardize school and other people and potentially college football on Saturday. This hour brought to you every day, our title sponsor, DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and check out all the happy referrals, the many, many, many pleased customers, and look at all those beautiful cars. Give them a call at 662-890-7184. But get down to DeSoto County to Goodman Road and check out all the beautiful cars. They've all been checked out, bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model, kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, down-home environment, no high-pressure sales. They want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we're living in a world today that time matters. That's why you walk in within 45 minutes, test drive your car, credit approved, paperwork complete. Now, you're not going to test drive your car inside after you walk in. You can go back outside and test drive your car. You know that. But you're going to be out of there in 45 minutes in time to do it over your lunch hour or immediately after work, like right now at DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Every Thursday we get to chat with our friend Greg Gaston from the middays and the afternoons and a myriad of other projects, including sideline reporting on the Tiger Radio broadcast. Today, I mentioned a little bit earlier, Greg Gaston, we shot the Ryan Silverfield show. It's the fifth television coaches show that we have now filmed, and we've had one game. I admire Ryan for taking the time to do it because, you know, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. But today I felt I could sense the weariness in the coach because he said today, and we better get used to this, it's a long, long way to go. He still has not had his whole team practicing. In his words, not even close. When and if they go to Dallas a week from tomorrow, they will not go with all of their players. We've had now, I believe, 28%, I think is the number, or right around there, of games that were supposed to play that have been canceled. So we knew it was going to be rocky. I think it's maybe, I'm starting to sense it's a little rockier than maybe we thought it was going to be.
Well, first of all, gentlemen, hello to you guys, and thanks for having me on. I thought maybe you'd cut me out since we haven't had games the last 3 weeks, but I appreciate you having me on. And no, you're right. Well, it's varying effects on every program that's playing right now. And, of course, there are some leagues that haven't decided to come back, and we'll probably get that news in the next couple of days. But of the programs that are playing, it's been affected variously. And with the Tigers, it's unfortunately It's affected them one of the worst in college football. Period, bar none. There's other things that are happening, other games that are being canceled, but to have 3 straight weeks, and if the game against SMU does take place a week from Saturday, you're talking about a month basically in between the first and second game. So it's got to wear on Ryan. It's got to wear on the staff and the players.
Well, I think it's worth for
that's almost like the end of the year to the bowl game.
Yeah,
going a month.
Yeah, but it's really worse for Houston and Virginia Tech. They haven't played a game yet. At least Memphis got one in.
True. That's true, but I don't.
East Carolina, Temple, and Houston from the AAC yet to play.
Well, let me ask you guys: is it? I know mentally you want to play it. You want to at least have a game because you've been waiting. So it's probably I know the answer to this question, but they haven't started yet, so they're not in this little. Memphis comes in, beats Arkansas State. You're feeling good about yourself. You want to get on a roll, and then you have to stop the train on the tracks for a month. Is that just as bad as having not even started the train going yet?
I really don't know the answer to that. I think both scenarios are lousy. I think to have gotten a game in and know that at least you trained and worked and got something out of it.
Something beats nothing.
Yeah, I think that is a little bit better, but I don't think that means it helps you against SMU by any means because you won't. Well, you haven't practiced really for 2 weeks, and then you started these modified practices that are not full practices. Let's say there's 25 periods. They've been going about 15. They don't have all their players. They will not have all their players for SMU, so he will not have had full practices the way he'd like for, 3-4 weeks. And SMU's played 2 games, and they're playing on Saturday against a team Memphis is going to see later in the year, Stephen F. Austin now. I think I'd rather be in Spike Dykes' shoes because I think SMU's got a huge advantage this way.
Yeah, the Sonny Dykes situation is a lot better than it is for Ryan Silverfield. Listen, I know you do the TV shows, as you mentioned, you taped, and I know Ryan's been pretty much close to the vest. Maybe there's some things that he has told you in secrecy. But as far as publicly, and the show doesn't run till, Sunday?
Correct.
What is he saying about here's what I'm confused about. Are more guys testing positive here over the last week or so, or are the guys that have tested positive not testing negative? Like they've gone a couple of weeks without testing negative.
Well, here is the thing that is frustrating is that they are not specifying sport or really specifying what is COVID cases that are positive and what is contact tracing. So, the reason we shoot this thing on Thursday for Sunday, and obviously in the regular season, we shoot it Sunday morning, it airs Sunday night. We've been doing that because he's trying to get practices in on the Sunday time slot that we would normally shoot. So it as you would know, if we're just going to get into the business parlance here, Thursdays are days that he is set up for interviews. He does your and Eli's show, and then he shoots the TV show. Then he does the meetings with us. He does those prep meetings with us that we're now doing on Zoom. So he's got that time blocked out for these kinds of things, and that's why we're shooting these things now. But they made this decision, and I think it was actually guided by legal. I think the lawyers for the university are involved in some of these decisions. And they made that decision that they would disclose the cases or the affected number of students in the athletic department without breaking down sports. And it was described to me, they said, well, look, what if it's a small sport? Let's say it's basketball, and a player doesn't show up, and we tell you it's 2 people, and these 2 people don't show up, you're going to know who they are. I said, well, I got to tell you something. If those 2 people don't show up and I don't know who they are, I'm going to ask why those 2 people didn't show up.
Right.
But anyway, that is the guidance they're getting from legal. And so all we're getting is the numbers of those who have been affected either by contact tracing or positive cases. We don't get the breakdown. And honestly, the most revealing thing he said to me today was they will not be at full strength when they go to Dallas. And he didn't say this, I say this, if they go to Dallas, because, if there's any more that get it, and they're obviously not out of the woods yet.
But that's where I'm a bit confused, because unless the virus hits you seriously, where you have to be hospitalized and you're on a ventilator, and God forbid you lose your life, which has happened to so many people around the country, it's just, you just can't stand hearing that news on a daily basis. But for the younger people, they have not been affected like that. And for the athletes, we had that tragedy in Pennsylvania, I think it was, with maybe a D3 player. But we really haven't heard anything that serious. So if there's nothing that serious, then I always thought it was, okay, you get a positive test, they you get away from everybody, and then within 10 to 14 days, you're better, if not quicker, if not sooner. Well, we're going back a ways to Arkansas State. So
yeah,
has there been
and Greg, South Florida had negative tests. They tested him after being exposed to the Notre Dame players. They had negative tests, and they still shut it down. Last week, the CDC released these numbers. Ages birth to 19, and this is if you've been infected. This is if you've had the virus. Birth to 19, your chances of survival, 99.997%. Ages 20 to 49, 99.98%. Ages 50 to 69, 99.5%. 70 and up, look out. Your chances of surviving, 94.6% if you've had the virus.
Right. And let's remind everybody, even though they've been very vague about giving you specific information, when the news came out that the Houston game was going to be canceled, they said two things in their release that were enlightening. The first was that they believed at that point, and they've not said anything since, so I have to believe it's still true, they said it did not come from an on-football field related incident, that it came from a social incident. That's what that was the term they used. They didn't say party bus. We know that, and they insist that it wasn't a party bus, but it was a social situation, which is the beginning of this mess. And the second thing they said that was enlightening to me was no cases are serious. So they've got protocol in place. And it goes back, and Greg, you weren't a part of this conversation, but Brett and I had talked about with the Cardinals. So the Cardinals got it in that hotel in Milwaukee, and they, as soon as it occurred, they separated the players that had COVID and staff members, and they moved them. They actually had them drive. They rented cars, left them parked outside on the street, let those guys come down. They emptied the lobby. Those players and that staff member got in their own cars and drove from Milwaukee to St. Louis on their own.
Right, I heard about that.
Just to keep them separated from everybody. And then everybody else was quarantined in that hotel for however long it was, and their protocol was like 2 weeks. That's why they missed all those darn games. And then apparently when they were going back to St. Louis, another player got it or whatever it was, or I don't really know because they were never quite specific about it, but it delayed it even further. There are protocols. It's 10 or 14 days, whatever it may be, even if you continue to test negatively, which is why I don't understand that, but that's the protocol, that if you've been exposed, contact tracing, and it doesn't matter whether you test negatively, there's a period of time that you must quarantine. So it could very well be that some of these Tiger players, to begin with, if we're talking about all this time and why they are not all back at practice yet here 2 weeks later, or all 3 weeks later now.
3 weeks later, right.
It must be because there is the protocol, and then along the way, other players have picked up COVID or gotten positive tests or been exposed other ways and had to sit out through contact tracing that they don't have the ability yet to be free to come practice. So
that was what I was thinking about, because it doesn't seem like this all stems from the original incident. This seems like that others along the way have either tested positive or because of contact tracing, they're being kept away. Look at Arkansas State. They had another game this Saturday canceled. more than likely canceled as opposed to postponed because it was the non-conference game against Tulsa. So they're 3 weeks removed as well from the Memphis game. And again, we can argue, and nobody really knows for sure other than the people themselves in the school maybe, but you and I don't, all the facts of how it happened. But Arkansas State, certainly there was a Tigers player who blamed Arkansas State. And then Arkansas State still being affected. So was it them? Was it Memphis? Was it a combination? Was it after the fact? There's just too many questions out there, and we don't have the answers. And that's not the important thing. The important thing is that these guys get well, that they're able to have enough players to play a game, and now we know that. And I don't know if the American does this, Lolo. You could probably help me out with this. But do they also have the restrictions on if you don't have 7 defensive linemen, if you don't have the depth at offensive line, then you can't play? If one position area is not up to snuff according to their rules, that you can't play the game.
Actually, where I saw that, Brett helped me out here, but I think that is the protocol of the SEC. That isn't to say that the AAC hasn't adopted that. That could be a guideline that came from College Football Playoff Committee or it came from the NCAA. I don't really know. The only place I've seen that is from the SEC.
Do y'all realize?
What?
Do y'all realize that if the SEC had that language just as a standard last year, Tennessee would not have been able to play opening day against Georgia State. They wouldn't have met those offensive line protocols a year ago without the virus.
So
I didn't know that.
So the protocol, if I recall, the protocol was 53 players, right? That's the minimum. You have to have 53 guys, 7 offensive linemen, 4 defensive linemen. I think it was it 2 quarterbacks or 1 quarterback?
Just one quarterback.
One quarterback. But, yeah, okay. I thought that was kind of wild.
What about deep snapper? Anybody got a deep snapper, Greg?
You need 3 of them.
But here's the thing. If you lose your long snapper, the quarterback's got to get under center. I don't know how you punt, but you know.
But I know there's a team
go
or
for
two. I know there has been a team or two that has been affected by that. So it means to me that it's more than just the SEC. It may not be the American, but there is another league or two. There's not that many playing
and I'm
that
not
has
saying,
those restrictions.
I'm not saying it's not the American. I really don't know. I've not seen
Okay,
protocol.
gotcha.
I do know this. The University of Memphis Athletic Department is following protocols that have come from the American. So whatever the American protocol is, that is what they are doing.
Right. My gosh. It's unbelievable.
But it's 2020, and I really do. My heart went out to Ryan Silverfield. He puts on a good face today, and he's really a guy who reaches out and tries to do the right thing. But I could sense how frustrated he has become. And this is stuff that's beyond his control. It's beyond anybody's control, right? I mean, this is 2020. This is the way it's
no
a
blame
roller.
game. No,
it's a roller coaster
we're not
of
doing
emotions. And you know, look, let me tell you, I was supposed to be on an airplane. I should have been right now. I should be in San Antonio getting ready for this game. And instead, it's another week. We're sitting here trying to figure out, will we really play? And we're not the only school. You know, you just mentioned 3 American schools that have not played a game yet. Virginia Tech has not played a game yet. I feel bad for ex-coaches.
Virginia.
You got Justin Fuente, who hasn't played a game yet, and you got Mike Norvell, who's got COVID.
Well, let's be honest here. It's Thursday, so if things were according to schedule, you'd be somewhere on the Riverwalk, probably at a nice restaurant, having a beautiful steak before your preparation for Friday's game.
I actually had
plans you have to eat
for this evening.
You have to eat avocado. You have to eat the
guacamole,
the chips and dips. The guacamole is the best in the world down there. And you know, Dave, Greg, if he were in San Antonio, he's already taken the big dive into the Riverwalk.
Let me tell you, gentlemen, I had major plans for this trip.
Oh, I don't.
How do people not fall in that thing down there, especially kind of on that cobblestone?
It's beautiful.
I don't see how more people don't end up in it.
I will say this: the vision of the planners who did that were brilliant. I mean, that has become
genius.
That's why, you know, there's a few places, New Orleans and the French Quarter. That's one place where the Final Four should be every year. Indy, because it's part of the deal. There's no doubt in my mind San Antonio should have every 4th year that event because it's the perfect place.
When I covered the Final Four, 2 things that amazed me about San Antonio because it was the first time I had been there. One was the Riverwalk. It was just tremendous. Second was how small the Alamo was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is true.
Very.
You go in
My
there and you
overriding
go,
feeling there was, Greg, it was, what were they fighting over this for?
I hope it was more than that, wasn't it?
What'd the winner get?
That building was so small. I was like, that's it?
That was it.
I mean,
can you imagine
there's
how
a lot
many
of reasons
people?
to fight.
Hey, there were a lot of people in that little tiny space.
There were. Unfortunately, a lot of people
and
lost
a great
their
Tennessean
lives.
took a great Tennessean and Texan took his last stand there.
Davy Crockett, yeah. David Crockett and was it Jim Bowie?
Bowie?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Jim Bowie. T. Boone Pickens was there? No, I'm kidding.
No, he was
It
not.
just sounds like he'd be there.
He came later. Greg is
Red
always-
McCombs. I think Red McCombs fought at the Alamo, didn't he, Greg?
No, Greg McCombs ended up.
Dave,
he owned it. He ended up owning it.
Stop me and Greg now, because
Yeah.
we'll keep going with people.
We have
really didn't do it.
we have business we have to attend to. Always a pleasure, Greg. I really
Thank
hope.
you, Greg.
I hope next week we are talking about me leaving the next day and all my plans for Dallas. How's that?
It'll be nice, guys. I hope so. Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Greg, yes.
Thank you, man.
Listen to him every middays from 10 to 1 right here on Sports 56 with Eli Savoy. This portion of the show
Yes, you can.
is brought to you by Sheldon. Sheldon Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf. He's still out there carrying the ball over the goal line, even though all the sporting world has turned upside down. According to Sheldon, with the interest rates as low as they are, the real estate market is hotter than John Morant. And so is Sheldon's new listing. Well, here's the thing. Sheldon is so darn good. He really is. Sheldon is so darn good at what he does. He's already sold that listing at 4245 Amber Lane. I'm telling you, you talk to us, we put it out there, boom, it is gone. It was a beautiful property. By the way, it's part of it because Sheldon knows how to market it. When you want the job done, you call Sheldon. So now if you would like for your home to be on this commercial next week, and I've got one ready, well, all you got to do is email Sheldon at memphisrelocate.com or make this simple call, 483-0546. That's memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. Get it done. Sell that house. Call Sheldon Rosengarten. We are back in just a minute, unless there's something you would like to say, Mr. Norsworthy.
In a minute, it'll be fine. We'll get to Tim, and we'll talk baseball with him. And Cubs have already lost today with a lot of baseball to talk about with Tim.
The Pirates are killing it. That's terrible. Now they got to play 3 with the White Sox. They could actually end up blowing this and not winning the division. I mean, now I got to hope for the Cardinals and the Reds to lose. Well, I do that anyway. That's Tim Doolin is coming your way in just a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
Hey, we understand. With everything that's happening, with all the new regulations, maybe you're not ready to come and hang out at Sweetgrass to catch a ball game. We want you to, we really do. And we're open for you to do just that. But we're also offering the next best thing, the new Sweetgrass Tailgate Party Packs. Whether it's wings, house-made dips, sliders, or other Sweetgrass tasty treats, all you have to do is call us or go to sweetgrassmemphis.com to order just what you're dreaming of when you're dreaming of watching sports and enjoying some sweet, sweet Sweetgrass.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One with a Thursday night football preview. Week 3 of the NFL season gets started with an all-Florida matchup when the Miami Dolphins travel north to face the Jacksonville Jaguars. Miami, led by veteran quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, is off to an 0-2 start, including a close loss to the Bills last week. Second-year head coach Brian Flores says there were opportunities to win that one.
We didn't do enough to win the game. Just offensively, defensively, we couldn't finish the game. So you got to finish in this league if you want to win the game. You got to finish the game off. So thankfully, we got a quick turnaround and be out there Thursday night to get back to it and try to play better.
With Gardner Minshew under center, the Jaguars enter the game 1-1 after a Week 2 loss to the Titans. Brandon Gaudin and Derek Rackley will have the call from Jacksonville on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
All 75 months at 2.99 APR, G4, LHFO 7472, Outlander, LU02 9957, Eclipse, LZO 15617. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 59875, excludes tax title and license, offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details.
Gossett's Mitsubishi Madness is in full swing at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, and you'll find deals to get this party started. 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage G4 gets 41 MPG Highway. We Gossett at $139 a month or buy for $12,435. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, built to handle any adventure at $229 a month or buy for $18,573. And take the 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross for a spin at $19,107 or $229 a month. Get confidence today, tomorrow, and long into the future with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Mirage G4, $139 a month. Outlander Sport, $229 a month. And Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Termbusters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Final half hour of the program. Boy, there's some tough news out there. The Chicago Cubs, and we'll talk with Tim Doolin about this in a minute, they're planning for reduced capacity at Wrigley Field to start next year. So today, they laid off about 25% of their business staff because of a loss in revenue. They expect to lose about 75% of their revenue streams in 2020 because of COVID. Wow, that just
the Red Sox. The Red Sox last year with a big front office purge of a lot of people, including people that I know. It's across baseball, and it's going to be even more. If your team's in the playoffs, they're probably going to keep you. But then after that, look out in the off season. Hey, everybody, this fall is going to be the best. It's going to get better. We're going to end this 2020 thing better than it's been up to now. And I'm loving all the new All-Stars at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. You will not find more new Silverados anywhere else in the Mid-South, and it's for a lot less. If it's a new Chevy you want, Olive Branch is the place to be. It's the only place to be. Come drive one of these new Tahoes or Blazers like I'm driving. Talk about a road trip. Drive a new Traverse or Camaro. Wait. Here's the new Chevy car to drive. One of the Impalas that's got all the awards. All-Star. They win on the low prices. We're talking 20-somethings. You can even get thousands in cash back. Check out the certified pre-owned Chevy deals. The lot is full. Tahoes, Malibus, Impala, Suburbans, and don't forget, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Everyone at All-Star with one job. Make sure you get the best deal. Have a ton of fun doing it, and do it in record time. And everyone at All-Star, they thank our first responders each and every day for everything they do for us. Find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch at Kraft Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, when I started thinking about talking with Tim Doolin about baseball, I must confess I was going to say I've just jinxed those Chicago teams because I was bragging about the L Series, Subway Series, whatever you want to call it, and they've gone out and lost 11 in a row. And then you read the sobering news about 25% of the Cubs' business office laid off today, and they're going to lose 75% of their revenue streams for this year. It really does hit home. Tim, you're a baseball and a business guy, the business of baseball. This must really hit home everywhere in the game.
Well, there's no question it's affected everybody, from small businesses all the way to what you're seeing now happen. And it was inevitable that somebody was going to, do what the Cubs did and have to let a lot of those people go. And I guess the tough part about it is, as you know, stats you as well, a large part of the sales are taken care of during the off season, and with the uncertainty of the off season, who knows what's going to happen. And I can assure that the fan bases are not going to just come back in droves when they do, and they're not going to be adamant about just spending money on season tickets.
That's true. I think there will be plenty that will say, I'm not buying until I see there's a vaccine and I know it's safe to go. I think that truly is a major problem for the sport. The one thing they have going is the television contract, and I do believe TBS, Turner just re-upped through 2028, so that part is pretty steady. That's the good news.
Let's keep talking. I've had a good day so far. I don't want to talk about all this negative stuff.
Well, that is.
All right, I can give you some good news. Let's do it. And today the Cubs lost to a pitcher in his first game back after being on the DL, and it was listed as a bruised cuticle. Tim, if I'm a baseball player, I have that trainer release anything other than I had a bruised cuticle.
This is a true story, Stats. Kurt Schilling played video games so much he got a blister on his index finger, and obviously we fined him in kangaroo court. But I sure wouldn't want the trainer to release a bruised cuticle.
Man.
That's not good. And today, maybe the oddest game note today, the Detroit Tigers entered today mathematically still alive for the playoffs, but could still also have the second worst record in all the big leagues and have the second pick in the draft.
Well, that is crazy because, we're here. We've got 4 more days left, 5 more days, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden we're going to be in the playoffs, and yet there's so many big series this week and this weekend that and I can assure you somebody's going to shock another team because they're going to go in and sweep, or they're going to go 4-1 or whatever. It's going to happen.
I counted this up. If the playoffs started today, 7 teams from the Central Divisions would be in. 4 from the National League Central, 3 from the American League Central, which goes back to a discussion I thought I had with you a couple of weeks ago. I think that was the hardest division to compete in. All 60 games were played by those teams, and they're pretty good.
No, they are really talented. All of them are, and I think the other part that's difficult is you could say, well, we're able to see these teams enough to where we can scout them, but they were seeing a lot of different arms on both sides of the spectrum all the time. And now in today's game, you're seeing a guy throw 2 innings, 3 innings, and next guy in. So there's really no advantage of playing the same teams over and over again, especially when they're in one of the toughest divisions in the game, like you said.
Well, and that's why
Dave, I just have it as 3 each, 6 teams total. 3 from the American League: Minnesota, White Sox, and Cleveland. And then the 3 National League teams: St. Louis, Chicago, and Cincinnati.
Well, I think yesterday Milwaukee was in there too.
What happens if Milwaukee goes in and wins? Or who are they playing? They're playing the Cardinals 4 or 5 games.
Yeah,
they're playing the Cardinals once tonight, twice tomorrow, once Saturday, and once Sunday.
When I
That's
looked
like
at
a weekend tournament stats.
Yeah. Well, when I looked at it yesterday, the Brewers were in there, so it was 7. The thing that irks me about it a little bit is that I think baseball should have recognized this could have been an issue. And since you've only been playing within your division the whole time, they should have said, if we can do this, we will not let division teams play each other in the first round.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong cat that question. You got a guy named Stats that knows all those formulas and shit. I can't comprehend all that. I just play.
And for the playoffs for the Cardinals, if they get in, you run Wainwright and Flaherty in that 2 out of 3, you can be dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to. I don't think the Braves want it, and I don't think the Dodgers don't want it. I mean, you're going to have the same thing with the Reds. If they get in, you want to. Bauer's awful tough right now. He's been pitching lights out. Sonny Gray's been a little bit, banged up, but Cincinnati's been impressive. Joey Votto got hot. They've got some really good young talent. They got a young power hitting outfielder that's phenomenal.
I do not want to see Cincinnati. They have given the Cubs fits this year. I agree with you. But I am looking forward to this thing really happening. So you think right now there is a surprise from over the weekend that we're not counting on making the playoffs that we'll be in?
I think so. I mean, there's so many – the odds are with us. I think there's so many series that are critical that – and you like Stats was talking about with these doubleheaders and 7-inning games. I mean, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, I think. I mean, 7-inning games, I mean, anything can happen, and the best team's not always going to win those games for sure.
Do you believe that if this works, if this is compelling, if those television numbers are good, do you think baseball sticks with 8 per league for the playoffs? I don't think they'll stay with best of 3 to begin with.
No. Manfred wants 14 going forward. It's not going to be 16.
Yeah, I think you got to skinny it down a little bit because I'm afraid that I think the ratings in all sports are down. I think this whole pandemic's got all of our fans screwed up. Just how we've had to live our lives the last 7 months. All of the above, and it's going to take some creative marketing, and I think in every sport to get fans back. And baseball, unfortunately, I think lags amongst the other two.
Well, I would think, it bothers me that I saw that story about Wrigley Field and that they think they'll have limited capacity to start the year next year. We're kind of thinking that by March, right, that we'll have hopefully a vaccine and that the NBA would be able to play around March or April. Well, baseball doesn't start till April. If we're not getting full capacity in April, when would we be?
But the vaccine's not going to be a panacea, and I've warned against that the whole time. Every poll you see, whatever you want to count the polls value for, but every poll you see, just a large number of people that will not take it.
That's about the last poll I saw is about a third of the people that say they would not take the vaccine.
Well, I think like us all, we're ready for it to be over with.
No, we've been that way for a long time, but we are still a long way. Your favorite storyline so far from this baseball season that's maybe shocked you?
Honestly, as much as I'd say, I'm not shocked at all what Mookie's done, but I'm really impressed with what he and a lot of guys have been able to do. We talked about it. I know Stats and I talked about it off the air one time prior to the season, and I was playing golf with Mookie and just explaining, you're going to have to really find a way to motivate yourself and, all the things we talked about that we knew were going to happen, and to see the level of play that really the superstars are still able to play at. I guess if there's one player that I was surprised that he's doing what he's doing this fast, is Tatis. I mean, I knew he was good. I knew he was super talented. Obviously much more talented than his dad, which is not taking anything away from him. But to see him step in and play shortstop and really, as much as Machado's done well and really kind of helped mentor him a little bit, to see what the team has done with relatively unfamiliar, names of the game.
Right.
I think Tatis has done an unbelievable job.
Tim, I'm going to give credit to someone that I've had a good time at his expense through the years, and most of it was good-naturedly toward Dave when he was a skipper of the Cubs. Dusty Baker took over a tough spot with the house cleaning in Houston. He takes over that team, and he's going to have them in the playoffs. I don't know how much noise they make, but that could have unraveled.
It could have, but and not to discount Dusty Baker, because I think he was the right choice and he's done a marvelous job, like you said. However, I do think the fact that there weren't fans in the stands booing and heckling and throwing stuff every night, which they would have been, made it a little bit easier for Dusty and honestly for the Astros for sure.
I think they're going to end up getting a pass too. I don't believe that when we get out of this tunnel and into the light that anybody's going to really remember that. They're just going to remember all the stuff that we've gone through, and they're not going to harken back to 2 years ago and go, we owe these guys a bunch of guff.
And society's collective memories is about 10 minutes.
Yeah, no question. Well, Joe Kelly remembered, but not to say what he was doing was right, but that I think it really upsets the players, especially the players that were on the Dodgers and in the playoffs that year, because unless you've played at that level and understand how difficult it is to get, to even the divisional, much less the World Series, and then to feel cheated, some of those guys will never get that opportunity to get there. So I sense the more passionate, upset people were the opposing players, much more than the fans.
Last thing for Tim Doolin, your buddy Albert Pujols continues to march on and break records, getting past Willie Mays now in a couple of different categories. Is he going to play next year?
I think so. I think if he would have had to play 162 games this year, probably not, because he would have been banged up a little bit. But I think with how he's finished the season with, swinging it a little bit like he used to, I think he's going to play another year.
That'll be good for baseball.
Get good.
Yeah, it will
get
be
good and well. Get good and well in the off season. Announce that this is it. Have his ceremony. Have his have the tour and go out in style.
That's good. No I hope it happens. I think it will too. Tim, thank you much. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week. We'll be talking playoffs.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. That is our man on baseball. That is Tim Doolin. He is brought to you by the Butcher Shop. And tomorrow it's Hamburger Friday. You can go in, and the place is cavernous. It is so easy to social distance inside the Butcher Shop. You will marvel. And, of course, you'll marvel at the burger because it's the best. This is where they cut up and chop up the steak in the morning, and then they serve it fresh off the grill, right there for you to see. You say medium rare, they go, let me check this one. Let me check this one. Here it is. And they give it to you. And that's how good it is. Or they'll bring it to you outside now, too. And they want me to let everybody know just how big it is in there. And really big for party rooms. Big enough for tables of 6 with 6 feet spacing between the tables. You can have large groups, 20 to 40, and still meet all of the Shelby County Health Department guidelines. So please go check it out. Go look at the website. You'll see what I'm talking about, butchershop.com. If you want curbside for big dinners, they'll do that too. But if you want to go inside, I am telling you, it is safe. That's the Butcher Shop in the Agri Center right there at Walnut Grove and Germantown Road. Back in a minute. It'll be crunch time as we wrap up this Thursday edition of Sports Time.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
Golfers, want to know how to fix your slice? Then come to Edwin Watts Golf Shops and check out Callaway's brand new Big Bertha B21 family. The Big Bertha irons have been engineered with AI technology for fast ball speeds and amazing forgiveness. And the all-new Big Bertha woods are made for distance. And the large Big Bertha head is specifically engineered with internal drop bias weighting to help improve your launch angles and promote a straighter, longer ball flight. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops to get custom fit for the new Callaway Big Bertha B21 family today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Hey, sports fans, this is Vegas Insider John Anthony with your Thursday night report. Tonight I'm releasing Miami-Jacksonville. Huge information. I love this game against the spread. It shares free. Call the recorded message line 1-800-814-9317. John Anthony Sports from Las Vegas Strip. Miami-Jacksonville plus the total free. Call the recorded message line 1-800-814-9317. Miami-Jacksonville side and total. Thursday night, John has you covered. I love this game against the spread. It's big, plus the total and 2 bonus plays. That's 4-0 free. Call the recorded message line 1-800-814-9317. Information wins for John Anthony Sports. Miami-Jacksonville side and total. Thursday night football plus 2 bonus plays. That's 4-0 free. Call the recorded message line 1-800-814-9317. That's 1-800-814-9317. Or go to VegasScoresAndOdds.com.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
The day has come for huge savings at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat with Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days going strong on Covington Pike. Get 0% APR plus no payments for 90 days. New 2020 Jeep Cherokee Latitude IIHS Top Safety Pick $21,740 or $275 a month. 2020 Dodge Challenger, a muscle car with best-in-class cargo volume $24,690 or $318 a month. 2020 Dodge Charger, America's fastest 4-door muscle car $24,990 or $329 a month. And 2020 Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab $366 a month. Drive past the rest. Come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat 1901 Covington Pike. Online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 3.99 APR, 3,500 down. Must finance through Chrysler, Cherokee, LD 561583, Challenger LH 14740, Charger LH 116732, 1500 LS 139 See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Voloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, that we hit fame. We beat you with the deal, we get insane.
Final portion of this Thursday is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch, where every new car on the lot gets 2 things now: a limited lifetime powertrain warranty, that's every new Hyundai, every new Genesis, and a 3-year 36,000-mile maintenance package. You never feel like you have any doubts when you go. 13 years together, this crew. They will assure you about the product. They will assure you about the service. They'll take care of you all the way around. If you're thinking about safety, how about Hyundai getting the most number of top safety pick vehicles in 2020, and the 2021s have arrived. They're even better. If you're looking for a pre-owned, Auto Trader named Hyundai as the best non-luxury certified pre-owned program in America. There's a million reasons why, but it starts with the people. Chris True is their leader. Go find out for yourself. It's right around the corner. You get on Lamar. It's Highway 78 when you get to State Line Road. The very first exit in Mississippi is Craft Road. Turn left. You won't believe all the product. Maybe the new SUV, the Genesis SUV, is coming any day. Maybe it's there today. Go find out for yourself at Homer Skelton Hyundai or Genesis of Olive Branch. It's crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello,
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
On 1, on 2, on 3. Hey.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Learned today that I love Chucky Gruden calling Cam Newton Slam Newton. He says he should be a power forward in the NBA. Dave, I told you the conversation at the Super Bowl when Paul Hornung said he's bigger than any Green Bay Packer offensive or defensive lineman on the back-to-back Super Bowl winning 1 and 2 teams he was a part of.
That is incredible. I saw that. Actually, I got a different way to go, but I was going to use that myself. Yeah, Slam Newton is what he called him, a power forward playing quarterback, and he really is. And I will say he has, at least 2 games in, reinvented himself. There is no question in my mind Cam Newton is going to have an outstanding year, and it's going to make New England a really, really good team. That continuation that their head coach, Bill Belichick, that little debate was, did Brady need him more? Did he need Brady? At this point early on, it looks like Belichick is doing quite fine without him. No, I learned I may have jumped the gun on my Tampa Bay Lightning. I thought they were the Goons. But wait, when they went up 5-2 on the Dallas Stars last night, did you see all the cheap shots that Dallas started taking on the Lightning? I couldn't believe it. And I thought to myself, I know this is not the sport. I've watched it be played for years. I had the wrong team being the Goons. It's Dallas. And Tampa's now up 2-1. I picked the good guys after all.
That junior hockey. You knew it would come in handy for him, didn't you, Drew?
Yeah, we really knew it. I was going to give him the edge in this.
Yeah, we knew it would. Could have done without. 0 points for Jason Tatum in a half, and Anthony Davis with the 2 rebounds and 1 block shot the night before that for the Lakers. Wonder, as I said earlier, which one of those 2 rebounds that he really treasured. Even the Stars, though. I say that and I kid. Even the Stars have off nights.
Well, Jason Tatum did sort of come back to form in the second half. But he looked like a zombie out there. I thought he was hurt. I didn't know what was wrong with him. He was awful. I could have done without this Pac-12 not making a decision. They keep waiting, and now you don't know if they come back. Will it be the 31st or will it be November 7th? If it's November 7th, what are they going to get in 6 games? Should they really be in line to get a position in the college football playoffs if they've only played 6 games? That just doesn't make sense.
They better be real good
to me.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
They need to make a decision this week, and hopefully, maybe late tonight. Maybe they're meeting right now. Hopefully, we get some sort of decision as soon as possible.
We'll keep a close eye on Thursday night football, the battle of mustachioed quarterbacks, Miami at Jacksonville. No fans, no big deal there. Jacksonville, they never have fans. College football country down in Jacksonville. Crucial game 4 for Denver, trying to even it up 2-2. If they do, advantage. Broken serve for Denver. They will have rallied back. And I mentioned Jamel Murray, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro. They're the breakout stars, all with the same college basketball coach and all with the same number of national championships with that coach. Zip.
I will be torn probably. I'm not worried about baseball. Cubs already lost today. White Sox are playing right now, have an early lead. But I'm going to be tuned in.
You're not giving up on the Cubs and White Sox, are you?
No.
Drew, I sense White Cow being thrown.
No.
And him turning on them again like last year.
No, let me clarify. As you jump to the conclusion, always dangerous, my friend. No, the Cubs have absolutely, positively thought we're saving it for the postseason. Why? We had such a big lead. Didn't matter. We're just going to rest everybody, take it easy. We'll be ready for the play. So I'm not worried.
Dave, you shouldn't worry. And you know why you shouldn't worry?
Because they're good.
We will be here for you.
Oh, no, that is definitely not.
Right here, big guy. Got him good shoulder.
Right here.
Not the case there.
Two big shoulders.
They'll be good. So
I only got
two big shoulders.
I'm going to be clued in. I will be focused on two things. The big game between the must-win Lakers, right? Or is it the must-win Nuggets? I think that'll be a terrific game. Can't wait to watch that. And then to see what the Jaguars and Minshew do with the Miami Dolphins. We've got to thank...
Big shoulders, Dave. Big shoulders.
Bill Bender. Always a fun time to listen to what Bill Bender has to say. We want to thank Keith Smith, Russell Copeland, Greg Gaston, and Tim Doolin. We do this again tomorrow. Big show. Bruce Marshall from the Gold Sheet, who had been hot. He kind of cooled off. We'll see what he's got to say. We'll pick Auburn tomorrow. We'll pick LSU tomorrow. Matt Wyatt from Mississippi State is going to talk about LSU. We've got Glenn Rogers, Andy Schiffman, and we got our football forecast Friday from the First National Bank and Trust. It'll be great. We'll see you then. Have a great night, everybody.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected